Welcome in, everybody, to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. We're going to take it down the fiction route today, and I'm going to do that with a guest that was referred to me by our good friend Alan Warren. And he always refers me to these wonderful guests that are distinguished, that have these great histories and great books out there. And Alan's thrown me a fish I could never land, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have Royce Wilson with us, a distinguished author of many, many books out there, and I know you know him. He's new to my vision in my world. Royce Wilson uses his vast law enforcement forensics experience like a master, weaving images from actual scenes into his novels, giving them a rich feel of authenticity. After more than 40 years in law enforcement forensics with the sheriff's office in Tampa, Florida, Royce writes detective mysteries and thrillers with plots that are compelling and entertainingly realistic and characters that we can all relate to. In fact, Rileyscott is the focus of Atropos, which is the novel that I got done reading this past weekend. We'll talk about that today. And you can not only relate to these characters, you can empathize with them. You either love them or you hate them. I actually kind of liked Riley. I related to him quite a bit. The dialogue's authentic, as is the detective's work, forensics and crime scene investigations and plot. You're gonna fall right in, folks, and you're gonna be riveted from the time you crack this book to the time that you put it down. We'll have a link to Atropos in the description of this program, and to all of Riley's books, as a matter of Riley, listen to me, to Royce's books. I'm so into Riley, I can't tell you the difference between Riley and Royce. But let's bring
He
in.
feels real.
He does, doesn't he? Royce Wilson, thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Tim. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. Let's talk about you first, then we'll jump into Atropos because, again, I'm excited to talk about the book. It was a fascinating read and a great read at that.
Thank
Um,
you.
Tell me about you personally, about your love of the law. When did it come about? When did you decide that you wanted to be on the right side of the law and that you wanted to work for law enforcement?
Well, I actually stumbled my way into the career, Tim. I got out of the Army. A couple of months later, I was looking for work. I found out about a trainee position for a crime scene investigator with the Tampa Police Department. This was back in the mid 70s before all the CSI shows and the things that generated such an interest in the field. Back then, I didn't even know what a CSI was, to be honest with you. Uh, but I needed a job. I applied for it. It was me and three other people applying for this one job, and I was lucky enough to get it. Uh, and they taught me how to be a CSI. So I really stumbled my way into it. But once I was in, I was hooked because it really, it's not just the way TV portrays it. It's a fascinating field. You'll see things and experience things that the average guy is not going to get a chance to see or experience. So I got lucky. I got lucky in life, and then one year led to the next year, which led to the next year. And before you know it, I had a career that had built up around me, and I saw it through to the bitter end.
Royce, I'm going to take this in that forensic uh, path here and go down that path because I think a lot of us
Sure,
watch those programs. We get hooked on them, and we
sure.
think because we can follow along on television, we could probably follow your career. And I know that's a harsh injustice to you to say that. It isn't as easy as it looks. TV makes it look easy. But give us an idea of what kind of science background you eventually have to do that job. I mean, obviously, there's got to be some physics there. There's got to be some chemistry. There's got to be some other things. But what do we need in what type of background do we need in order to be able to do your job?
Well, when I left, I'll start back. I'll take a step back. When I was hired, you only had to have a high school degree. You didn't have to have any field because they taught you. As the field evolved, by the time when I left, I was the director of forensic services for the sheriff's office. Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is one of the 10 largest sheriff's offices in the country. It's a big operation, and I was the director of forensics. So when we had a vacancy, we were requiring typically a 4-year degree, hopefully, preferably in a hard science, Uh, and we also wanted you to have some experience. So typically, the applicant would get a job at a smaller agency where they could get in without the experience and they would get trained up and then they would apply at larger agencies, which is how we got most of our people. So uh, the degree that you have to have can vary. You could have a degree in criminal justice, which has nothing to do with science, it's just a criminal justice degree. Or you could have a bachelor's degree in biology, a hard science, and that would qualify you. The
Hmm.
main thing that we want is good instincts. We want people that can go to a crime scene, and I'll talk in terms of a murder scene because a murder scene is really where you pull out all the stops. You're going to work a murder scene a lot differently than you're going to work a stolen auto.
Okay.
People don't like to hear that when they have their car stolen, but that's just a cold hard fact. We work a murder scene harder than we with more stuff than we do a stolen auto. So if you go to a murder scene, they first off, there's no book of how to process this scene, where a light shines down from heaven on this book and you grab it and flip the page over to, there's nothing like that to tell you how to process a scene. You're standing in the middle of blood, body fluids, shell casings, footprints, dead body. You're just in the middle of carnage, and you've got to make sense, and you've got to have the instincts that will help you make sense of the scene and know where to look for the evidence. Because ultimately, when we're on a crime scene, we're there for one reason. We're there to find a a shred, a scintilla, a piece of evidence that will help solve the case, that will link the suspect to the crime, and that's what we're there for. So I want when I was hiring people, I looked for something that told me they had good instincts and they would be able to get on a crime scene and find that shred of a piece of evidence.
Royce, is there a good when you're in that carnage? You're mentioning there's this carnage everywhere, and of course you've got to survey the room first, right? You got to kind of get an idea of what is in front of you, like any good investigator.
Mhm.
Is there one North Star? Is there one good starting point that you can always go to in an investigation to start looking and then try to put the pieces together in an investigation to try and solve it?
Well, that's gonna vary from scene to scene, Tim. So it's typically we'll get the obvious place to start is at the front door or the point of entry. People if they came in through a window, that's going to be the first focal point. We're going to want to process that. But we walk in through the front door. Usually, the way that it works when we get to a crime scene, let's say it's in somebody's house, we will gather up out in the driveway. It'll be myself, typically the major from criminal investigations is there, homicide supervisor is there, a couple of crime scene people, and we'll talk about what's inside the house because we've already had patrol go through and verify that there's no other victims and no bad guy hiding in there. So now we're outside. Let's say there's no search warrant issue, so we're ready to go, and we'll figure out who's going to go through, and we'll do what we call a walkthrough, and it would be typically myself, one or two of my crime scene investigators, one or two detectives, and we would walk through the house and assess where the evidence is, where the crime occurred, if it's all isolated to the living room, is there a bedroom involved, what have you, and we'll figure out what our first step is going to be, which is typically photographing the crime scene. We want to make sure that we document what the scene looked like when we got there. Uh, for obvious reasons, you want to be able to take that to court and say this is what the scene looked like. And once we've started the photography, we're going to have another crime scene investigator documenting, taking measurements of the different items of evidence. And your focal point is on if the weapon's there, you're focused on the weapon, that whatever the implement was that caused the person's death. You're focused on the body. You want to make sure that you get good documentation of the wounds and things like that. So you're juggling a lot of balls in the air at the same time. There's a lot of stuff going on but it's stuff that has to be done, and it's not necessarily in a linear fashion. We don't do one and then go to the next and then go to the next. We're doing a lot of things at the same time.
What tells the story more of a murder? The actual crime scene or the body itself?
It's usually a combination, Tim. Usually there's something at the crime scene that tells us, there's going to be some type of trauma to the body. It's, you know, is it a ligature mark where the person was strangled? Is it a stab wound? Is it a shot, a gunshot wound? There's going to be some sign of trauma to the body, and when we see that, we're going to be looking for some weapon that corresponds to that. If there's ligature marks around the neck, we're looking for that cable, that wire, whatever it is. We're looking for guns. We're looking for shell casings. So it's really a combination of both. But the most telling thing is what's on the body. There's one scene that comes immediately to mind where we thought the person was stabbed. So we were looking for a knife, and turned out they were shot. So you have to take everything. You don't want to get tunnel vision on anything. You want to take everything in its totality, and marry all the information up together.
When you say shocked, was it a puncture mark from a taser?
No, no, a shot,
Oh,
SHOT.
shot. I'm sorry. Oh,
Yeah,
okay, I thought you said
yeah,
shocked. Okay. Oh
yeah.
wow. Oh wow. Okay. Um. Okay. Sorry, you threw me off there. I thought maybe it was like one of the old fashioned. No, I shouldn't say old fashioned tasers, but with the
But yeah, 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 yeah. The prongs, yeah.
yeah, with the prongs. Okay. Have you ever seen a death like that? A death by electrocution with one of those prong tasers?
I've certainly worked death by electrocutions, but not with the taser.
Interesting.
We have had those. It's called excited delirium, where typically if the person has drugs in their system and then they get tased, their body can react adversely, and they can die from it. I've never personally worked one of those, but I have worked electrocution deaths before.
Hmm. In your opinion, I know this is getting a little grisly here, Royce, but in your
No, no,
opinion,
no.
what do you, from being a forensic specialist, what do you think is the most grisly way to go? I mean, I know once we're gone, we're gone. We probably don't feel it, but what is the most grisly way to go in your opinion?
Uh, uh, pit bull with AIDS latching on to you. Uh, Not the way that I would hate to go most, Tim, would be by fire. And
Yeah.
I've worked a lot of fire death scenes, and that is, I've worked scenes where people have languished in the hospital for several days after being burned before they mercifully died. But it's just such a painful existence, the last, seconds or days of your life to burn. But I mean, in my career, I think I've seen somebody killed every way they can be killed, and you know, sometimes death coming is merciful. When you're suffering.
Yeah. As much as I see, not only in fiction, but in true crime, in both genres, different ways that people are expired or unalived as the new
Oh,
as the new
yeah,
way that kids say it now.
I
Um,
can't stand seeing that. By the way,
yeah, murdered. That's just we'll
yeah.
call it what it is. Um, when you see that, uh, you say, okay, it maybe a gunshot to the head is probably the easiest way to go. Um, and then you look at some of the horrific ways that people could go. I would think being hit by a train and dragged has got to be one of the worst ways as well.
Oh, I can tell you, especially if you live for a while with that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I've worked a few scenes like that where somebody was hit by a train and dragged. Yeah, that is not a pretty sight at all. You've got different body parts strewn along the railroad track, sometimes for 100 yards.
Yeah. There's just different scenarios I would never want to be in. And I mean, my audience knows this, Royce. I've got broken neck, broken back. I've got Charcot foot. I've got different areas of my body that are in extreme pain, but I can't imagine the elevated pain that you would be in some of those scenarios.
Yeah, yeah. I've worked bodies that were killed by alligators before. That's got to be a horrific thing because you know what's happening to you.
Yeah.
Because they don't. You're not just instantly dead. There's this reptile has latched onto you, and you're out in the middle of a river or a lake or something like that. If it's a big gator, there's no getting away from it, and what's going to happen to you. You know you know what's behind door number three. You're going to be eaten by an alligator. That's got to be a horrible way to go.
Alligators and shark attacks to me seem like they'd just be,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Alligator bites, surprisingly, alligator bites don't look much different than stab wounds
really.
on the body. Yeah, yeah. If you recover like a torso that's had an alligator clamped down on it, it looks like a number of stab wounds. They're unique stab wounds, but it doesn't. There's no like ripping and tearing, like you would expect. It's like the person had been stabbed a bunch of times.
Oh, but the amount of times, like, because a gator will roll you, and then of course, it's
Yeah,
clamped down, and it'll continue to clamp down, and with the amount of teeth there, that's multiple stab wounds at the same time, though, over and over.
right, right. And with a great deal of force. Now it will
Wow.
rip and pull and tear flesh loose and swallow it whole. They do that. But if you recover a body part that had an alligator clamped down on it, it looks like stab wounds.
Oh, and then it's the at that point it's the blood loss you're gonna die from. It's not from
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
trauma.
yeah, yeah. There's going to be a bloodletting for sure. There's no doubt. Yeah, you're not long for this world when you're out in the middle of a lake and an alligator clamps down on you if there's nobody there to save you.
Wow. Mm. I do have to ask you this with I know I'm asking some morbid questions here, but of
No,
course,
no, no.
this is someone who's writing crime novels. When when you're talking about when you're writing a villain and you want to get rid of a body, what are some of the more ingenious or inventive ways that you think of for your villains to get rid of a body?
Well, typically in my stories, I don't have my guys generally get rid of the body. They just I've had them do some unique things to the person. Uh, I, I but if I was going to write that, uh, I would probably I'd probably have them bury them with a backhoe. We worked. I don't know if it made the news up in Minneapolis, but when I was still at the sheriff's office, we worked a case where this guy had won the lottery and he was murdered for his money. It's a long story. The guy's name was Abraham Shakespeare, just like William.
Oh, wow.
Abraham Shakespeare was murdered for his money, and the person that murdered him now had a lot of money. They could afford this. They had a backhoe dig a hole. Actually, this person had their ex-husband dig this hole with a backhoe. They threw Abraham's body in there, covered it with lye, and then had it covered back up and then cement slab poured over it. Uh, if she had not started talking, if she had stuck to her guns, we would probably still not have Abraham Shakespeare's body recovered. So doing something like that is gonna, that's one way to get rid of a body. Uh, I've worked a lot of scenes where bad guys have burned their victim's body in a fire pit, and we always recover bones. How whatever causes that information to come to law enforcement that somebody killed and burned a body, we get there and we recover bones that we've been able to use against them. So it's really tough to just absolutely positively get rid of a body and not have it come back to haunt you. But if you buried it deep enough And if I was going to do it, I'd probably plant a tree, a fast growing tree over the spot, that nobody's going to look under there. I would do something like that. But for a crime novel, generally, if you're writing that novel, you want the body to be discovered because that leads to further tension and action in your book. So I don't generally have my guys dispose of the body, the good guys,
Yeah.
uh, and the bad guys. If they disposed of the body, we wouldn't have a story typically.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, yeah, it's a good point. It's a very good point. It's I mean, the closest one I can come up with here in Minnesota that would be known nationally is the Jacob Wetterling disappearance and the difficulty they had digging in northern Minnesota trying to find remains for him once the suspect had um, confessed to it. Um,
Where was the body at?
they don't. I don't think they ever found
Oh, they
remains.
never found it.
They dug around on a farm in northern Minnesota with backhoes and different things, but I don't think they came up with anything substantial that said it was Jacob. Let me look up. Let me look that up again because if I remember right, I don't. I remember Patty Wetterling coming out and saying that they didn't have anything. Oh, they did recover it. Yes, they recovered his remains September 2016 from a pasture in Paynesville, Minnesota. His abductor, Danny Heinrich, led authorities to a burial site as part of a plea deal. That's right. Okay, so I wasn't remembering it properly, but I remember the backhoes in this particular field and watching them dig that up. Um,
Yeah, the problem with disposing of bodies, Tim, is somebody's going to stumble on that body somehow at some point down the road. It's really tough in today's society to find a place to dispose of a body that nobody's ever going to stumble across it. So uh, if you live long enough, that body will be discovered in your lifetime. And if they're able to, you know, link it back to you, you're going to jail. But it's just really hard to dispose of a body in a way that obviously Jimmy Hoffa, there are instances where somebody's been disposed of and nobody's found them, but it's rare that a bad guy's able to pull that off.
Let me ask you this again before we go to break here. I had the Hollywood Godfather on here on this program. He claims in his book that a mobster after this intricate plot that they had to kidnap Hoffa, and I'll have to tell you off air how they did it, Royce, because I have to refer to the book in order to tell you how they did it. It's kind of intricate. They had actually kidnapped him in a car, got him up into a van, drove off with him, put him into a compactor, him along with the driver, made him into a cube, and then turned that cube into a coffee table. And supposedly it sits in a mobster's basement. So when you go down into the basement, you can have a cigar with Hoffa. So that's why you supposedly will never find Hoffa.
I got to tell, I would almost bet money against that being true,
See,
but
I
I
would,
wouldn't bet my life against it.
I wouldn't either. I mean, supposedly it's an ingenious way to get rid of Hoffa, but there were supposedly now again, this is according to the book, every mobster in America and even some in other countries bid on Hoffa when it was found out that this cube was out there because it was just the raw cube. It was this particular mobster bid on the cube and then made it into a coffee table.
Wow.
Yeah,
Think of the mindset that you have to do that, to
that
want
is
to have that in your house.
yeah, that is twisted.
Yeah, there's something going on in that mind that would make you want to do that.
Yeah, yeah, that's truly a psychopath to think.
But but
Make.
but that whole story, Tim, that presupposes that they knew in advance the extent that authorities were going to go through to try to find Hoffa. Typically, even somebody as well. And it's not like he was the president of the United States.
Right.
He was the president of the Union, but it, typically they're not going to spend decades and decades looking for the body and theorizing this and questioning this person. It has just grown into a much bigger case than I would have thought it would have. So for them to have driven the car up into a van and driven that off, it just presupposes that they knew that it was going to be that big of a story, and I just don't buy that. For my money, I think I would believe the you uh, buried in the concrete in Giant Stadium or whatever they say. I would believe that before I believe that he's in a coffee table in somebody's house. But
Yeah.
again, I wouldn't bet my life on it.
You would think even if you were buried in the foundation of some building somewhere, that that would be easier found, especially with ground penetrating radar, right? These
Hmm.
days, than somebody's coffee table somewhere. That'd be pretty tough to
Right.
find.
Yeah. 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 I don't know how that would ever get discovered. I mean, I could make up some theories on how that would be discovered, but certainly if law enforcement had credible information, they could get a search warrant and go in there.
Sure.
Uh, but I just don't see that happening.
Yeah. Either way, it's a pretty fantastic story.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It makes for good lore.
It does. Absolutely. I tell you what, we'll take our break here, Royce. When we come back, let's talk about Atropos and the rich story that you've put together with your detective Riley Scott here, and a wonderful story, by the way, that I
Thank
had the
you.
pleasure of reading this past weekend. Um, it's set in New Orleans, which I love the city of New Orleans. I've only had the fortune of being there for 1 week, but I even that 1 week, I yearned to go back there, and it was you transported me right back there with this book, and I had such a wonderful time just with my visit, even in the mind, reading Atropos. So I want to talk to you about that when we come back, um, and then we'll get into it a little bit and talk a little bit about Royce's characters in this book and a little bit about the city of New Orleans and why New Orleans for Atropos. We'll talk about that when we get back. Again, link in the description of this program so you can read Atropos, folks, and another link as well so that you can get Royce's other books. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about our sponsor today, Jelly Bean and Julia's. Jelly Bean and Julia's has these specials going on this week, Tuesday through Thursday. Of course, happy hour, 25% off all appetizers, including appetizers, or I'm sorry, excluding. I do this every week. It's not including, it's excluding the appetizer sampler, half price single pour well drinks, half price Mick Golden Light, half price, and half price on Coors Light taps, half price domestic cans and bottles as well. Friday, I shouldn't say Friday, of course. Friday is the exception. Friday is the smoked prime rib dinner, folks. You heard me right. Smoked prime rib dinner, 14 and 16 ounce dinners there. They start serving at 4:30. Corey takes and smokes these prime rib inside his walk-in smoker. I've been inside this thing, folks. It is a thing of awe. That's the only thing I can say. This walk-in smoker holds as much prime rib as you can imagine. I just need to close my eyes here for a second and be in awe of the glory that is the walk-in smoker. This you can get the pretty much the prime rib however you like it. Get it rare, get it medium rare. Don't whatever you don't get it well. Don't do that. But the amazing smokiness and the taste of this prime rib is going to be one of the top 5 meals you have in your life, folks. It comes with a creamy horseradish, by the way, which is absolutely perfect. You get the Boston baked potato with it. You get the sweet and tangy tequila berry salad, folks, which has the croutons, the bacon bits. It is a wonderful salad. You get Texas toast with it. Everything comes with it. 14 or 16 ounce. They start serving it at 4:30 and they serve it until it is gone. And believe you and me, it will be gone. Don't wait until 7, 8 o'clock at night to go out for some smoked prime rib from Jelly Bean and Julia's, it will be gone. So Friday nights, that's every Friday night. Go get it while you can. I'll be there on Friday night. I'll tell you that much. And on Sundays, of course, breakfast on Sundays only at Jelly Bean and Julia's, chicken and waffles, and much, much more. You've got the brisket and hash. It's an experience. Breakfast at Jelly Bean and Julia's. Again, Jelly Bean and Julia's is in Coon Rapids on Coon Rapids Boulevard. Jelly Bean and Julia's, it's an experience. jellybeanandjulias.com. Check out the link in the description. All right. When we come back, more with Royce Wilson. We'll be talking about Atropos right here on the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. Welcome back to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. My guest is Royce Wilson. The book we're talking about today is Atropos, which is available right now in the link in the description of this program. Let's jump into it, Royce. Let's talk about Riley Scott, and who is the detective, the main detective in this wonderful book. Give us a little background on Riley, because he is the focus on a lot of your different books. Tell us what kind of a detective and what kind of man Riley Scott is as we come into Atropos.
Okay, sure. First off, Tim, I got to tell you, if I was in Minneapolis, I'd be going for some of that prime rib this weekend.
Well, I
That you
take it.
you made it sound great. I mean, my mouth is watering.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's what I'd take you. I'd treat my friend. Definitely.
So Riley Scott is he's a combination of a number of people that I've known through my life and my career. He's a little bit of a grizzled detective, but not one of those hard boiled, gumshoe detectives. He's got really good instincts. He doesn't miss much, and as he gets when he gets into a case, he's very ethical. Uh, but sometimes his ethics take him right up to the boundary line where, if it was a football game, he would get a little chalk on his cleats from getting too close to the line. But he does what he has to do to solve the crimes. Uh, he's uh, he's like a bulldog. When he gets his teeth into you, he's not letting go. He's going to, obviously it wouldn't be a good book if he didn't solve the case, but he's just uh, very smart, very ethical guy, and he guesses correctly a lot of times. Now, Tim, you had mentioned New Orleans, and Atropos doesn't really. The story Atropos isn't. It takes place in Tampa, but there is a connection to New Orleans in that another book of mine called "Those Who Stand Accused," and I don't want to spoil anything, but in the book "Those Who Stand Accused," that takes place a great deal in New Orleans. And if you read Atropos, where the case gets solved, it's about a serial killer, obviously. The case gets solved in Atropos, and 3 years later, as the case is getting ready to go to trial for who Riley Scott arrested in Atropos, 3 years later, that case is going to trial on Monday. And over the weekend, there's a murder in the same exact apartment with the victim killed the same exact way as one of Atropos's victims. So that's the story of Those Who Stand Accused. So, and that does take place a great deal in New Orleans. And you had asked why New Orleans is. It's just New Orleans is such a rich city, and there's just so much life and culture there. I haven't been there as often as I would like to, but I've probably been there 6 or 8 times in my life. My wife and I just went there for our anniversary in April.
Oh,
I
congratulations.
mean, thank you. The food is just amazing. I don't know if you're congratulating me for being married for that long or for having good food, but
Oh,
I'll take it. I'll take it either way because I do like my food. Uh, but yeah, New Orleans is it's a fascinating city, and it's Tampa and New Orleans share a lot of the same type of culture. So I just thought it was a natural connection to use those two.
one of the and again, we're not really a spoilery show, but I find it interesting that you also managed to fold in a little bit of the supernatural with it, and we do a paranormal show here as well.
Hmm.
You mentioned a bit of the supernatural side of New Orleans, which I won't say how or why or how it comes into the that part of it. But does that is that a part of your life? Do you have you run across that in New Orleans as well?
Only in through my work, we've had different scenes where there were, altars like Santeria or Palo Mayombe, uh, altars set up in people's houses and where there was a murder, and we've had to go in and figure out if that was connected to the murder, that kind of thing. Uh, but typically it's not. I mean, but there's people associate a lot of that kind of stuff with witchcraft and that kind of culture.
Hmm.
Uh, but it doesn't really drive the book. It was really just something that Riley Scott had to work his way through when he was in New Orleans. He was kind of thrust into it a little bit, and his life was indirectly threatened through that area. I'll leave it at that.
Have you ever had to, on a case of your own, have you ever had to consult with a shaman or priest to figure out what exactly was being threatened to a particular person through some sort of message being left with them?
No, no, I've never had to consult with anybody. In the forensics field, we wouldn't have, but there have been. I, I'll give you an example, Tim, of how that stuff can throw you off. We had a female that had gone missing, and she had been missing for a couple of weeks. And we had her description was blasted all over the news, and we got a call that somebody had found a head in a plastic bag down by a canal, and they said it matches the description of this woman. So we went out there. This is not going to be flattering for the woman, but we went out and it was a goat head,
Ooh,
and the color of the hair looked like her color hair. So we theorized that it was somebody that was using that for one of those, Santeria or Palo Mayombe, some one of their ceremonies where they kill goats and that kind of stuff. So it can make you scratch your head and say, "What the heck is going on here?" But it was really nothing more than somebody using it for a ceremony and then discarding the body part.
wow. I, yeah, you're right. It wouldn't be flattering for her at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but still, that's kind of disturbing to come across, right? When you go to pick
Oh
up a,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, we worked scenes before where we found bones and we thought that it was like human bones, and it turned out to be cow or dog or something else. But we've also found human bones that way also.
When when you come across something like that, and I know this is just my own morbid curiosity, it's probably the rest of my audience is going, "Why would you ask that question? What do you do with something like that? Is it something where you have to just dispose of it properly and move on, or what do you do with it?"
Well, you work the scene, you try to find it. A lot of times when you find bones like that, somebody was out hiking and they stumbled across it, or we've had a couple of times, believe it or not, where a dog has brought bones back to their home to their master, and
Mhm.
their owner saw it and said, "Oh my gosh, that looks like a human leg," and it was. We've had that a couple of times. So then you've got to try to encourage the dog to go back to where he found it, so we know where the rest of the bones are. But you have to work it like a crime scene. Sometimes it's a homeless person that was just out in the woods drinking and they died and then decomposed and got to that point. But sometimes it could be a murder where the body was dumped back there. So you have to work it like it's a scene. But when you're done with it, the remains, the bones, are turned over to the medical examiner, and the medical examiner disposes of them.
What happens, like, say, with the goat head, when you find something like a goat head, or if you find animal remains, how do you dispose of those?
The medical examiner would take that back with him and incinerate it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I just to me it especially things that are used for like animal sacrifice or whatnot. It's to me I've always wondered what do you do with that
Right.
when you're done. So.
Well, typically, and most people don't realize this, and I'm sure it's the same in probably every jurisdiction across the country, but I can certainly say in Hillsborough County, uh, the crime scene is our jurisdiction, meaning the sheriff's office. The crime scene is the sheriff's office jurisdiction, but the body in the crime scene is the medical examiner's jurisdiction. So
Mhm.
they control what happens. That's why it drives me nuts when I watch a movie and you see the detectives go into in the there's a dead body and the detectives start going through their pocket or looking in their mouth or we don't do that. We have to wait for the medical examiner to show up for them to do that kind of stuff. We can do what we want with the scene,
Mhm.
but when it comes to touching the body, that's entirely up to the medical examiner to do that. So the body is theirs. They take it back and they dispose of it in an appropriate fashion, whatever they deem that appropriate fashion to be.
Okay. Interesting. Getting back to Atropos. So Riley's this no nonsense kind of guy, but he does have this way of occasionally stepping over a line or two. Um, because he's trying to get down to the nitty gritty of the case. There's a few times in this book where he does need to kind of step on some toes, so to speak, in order to
Absolutely.
advance the case, right? Uh,
Yeah, Riley Scott he's got a lock picking kit that he carries with him for when he has to get into a residence that he might not be invited into, uh, and that's really the grayest part that I think I'll ever have him cross is doing something like that. And of course, once he's in there, he can't use that for his probable cause because he obtained that information illegally.
mhm.
But yeah, he'll butt heads with his his major, and for those of you that don't know, in the rank order, it goes from sergeant to lieutenant to captain to major to colonel, and then up to the sheriff or the chief deputy and the sheriff. So the major of his division is a guy named Toretta, and Major Toretta hates Riley Scott, and Riley Scott hates Major Toretta. Unfortunately for Scott, Toretta is 3 or 4 levels above him, so they're always butting heads, and Scott has to try to avoid his wrath as much as he can. But he in spite of the obstacles, in spite of what's thrown in front of him, he plugs along and gets the job done.
And I know you mentioned it previously, but you said there's to give people an idea of the plot of this book, there was a previous serial killer that from correct me if I'm wrong here, Royce.
Oh yeah, you're just mixing them up a little bit. So
Yeah.
the the premise of the story, I actually the story Atropos started off. I was going to write a true crime book, and it was going to be about the serial killer that we actually had in Tampa. His
Mhm.
name was Bobby Joe Long. I had worked a couple of his different scenes. Bobby Joe Long killed 10 different women in in and around Hillsborough County in Tampa.
Okay.
So I was going to write a true crime book about Bobby Joe Long, and I got into it. And I said, "Oh, I'm going to turn this into a novel," so that I had to change a few things, to make it, fiction. And I just had my serial killer going through killing, and I won't tell what their motive is because that's
Sure.
part of the ending.
Yep.
But I have the serial killer killing their victims, a number of victims in Tampa. Riley Scott figures out who did it, makes the arrest, and that ends Atropos. Then I believe it was my fifth or sixth Riley Scott novel was a book called Those Who Stand Accused, and that picks up where Atropos ends with the arrest, and Those Who Stand Accused, that opens up with a murder being committed exactly like one of the murders from Atropos in the exact same apartment, uh, which puts the heat on Scott to solve it because that case is going to trial on Monday. The Atropos murder is going to trial on Monday, and that murder occurs on the weekend, exactly like the Atropos murder. So now, of course, the defense attorney is going to be screaming, they arrested the wrong person, from the Atropos murders. The killer's still out there. So Scott has to now solve that.
So let me ask you this then, Royce. Are you ever going to go back and do the true crime book about the serial killer in Tampa?
I might. There's a couple of, I know there's one serial killer that an investigation I was involved in forensically that you can read any book you want. My name is mentioned in one of the books called The Gainesville Slasher. I don't know if you ever heard of it. The guy's name was Danny Harold Rolling. He killed the 5 students at the University of Florida.
Okay.
So that's a totally different jurisdiction than ours. That's the Alachua County Sheriff's Office and the Gainesville PD and the University of Florida Police Department. That's who worked that, as did the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Well, my jurisdiction got involved in a what turned out to be a significant way, and I don't know how much time we've got.
We've
If you
got a
want me to
few.
go into,
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. We've got a few minutes. Yeah.
so we've got this guy, this unknown person that's killing these students, and it turns out to be 5 of them at the University of Florida, and they have no idea who's doing it. Well, at some point, the police, the guy that's doing the killing, his name was Danny Harold Rolling. Rolling commits an armed robbery, and the police chase him into the woods. He gets away, but they come across his camp where he was living in a tent in the woods, and they collected evidence from this encampment from where Rolling was living, but they don't know who he is. He's gone. He's in the wind. So they've got this evidence that they're taking back processing. They don't know it's connected to the serial murder.
Hmm.
Fast forward a period of time later, we had there was I don't know if you ever ate at a Luby's restaurant. It was a cafeteria style restaurant, had
Oh,
really good food. A lot of deputies ate there. So there was a Luby's restaurant in this giant parking lot. They shared a parking lot with a grocery store. So some of our deputies are leaving from lunch when the manager of this grocery store comes running out saying, "That guy just robbed me." And she's pointing at this white male who's getting in his car. So our deputies go screaming up there. One of our deputies, Teresa Johnson, jumps out and she runs up to the car, and this guy is pointing a gun at her. So
oh
she
no.
freezes, he guns it and takes off. They get in their car, they give chase, and he eludes them. He ends up wrecking his car and he bails. When they get there, he's gone. They don't know who or where he's at. So we have our crime scene investigators process the vehicle. They get fingerprints off the vehicle. It's a stolen car. They get fingerprints off of it. They recover what a skull cap is, those knit skull caps, kind of like a
Yeah.
ski cap.
Yep.
They recover one of those from the back, a couple of other items. Well, there was a piece of paper in there that was connected back to the bank that was robbed in Gainesville where they chased the guy. And at this point now, enough time has gone by, they're putting pieces together in Gainesville and they realize the guy that did this robbery, we think he's our killer. So now
Hmm.
we've got this car in Tampa that we've got evidence out of. So as they end up arresting Danny Rolling in Gainesville for the robbery, they've got him in jail, but they can't prove that he's the murderer. They've got DNA from the bodies, but they don't have his DNA, and he ain't giving it up. Well,
Hmm.
he has dental work while he's incarcerated. When they take the gauze out of his mouth, when he takes the gauze out of his mouth and throws it away, they swoop in and get that gauze and use that for DNA work. Well, the
Aha.
Well, the prosecutor says you can't do that because it's not abandoned DNA. He had no choice but to throw it away there because he's incarcerated. So they've already matched the DNA. They know it's him. They know he's their serial killer, but they can't take it to court because they couldn't use the gauze. Fast forward again back to my little jurisdiction in Tampa. Uh, I've I've had one of my detectives at that point. I was the fingerprint expert. One of the homicide detectives calls me up and says, "Royce, do me a favor. I think this is connected to the Gainesville serial killer and all this." And I thought he was just blowing smoke. And I said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, whatever." He said, "No, I swear, I think it's the guy." So I do the comparison, and I end up identifying him. I mean, 20 or 30 times I identified Danny Rolling's fingerprints on the car. But more important than that was we got hair in that skull cap that we had recovered. And with that hair, we could get a search warrant for Danny Rolling uh, to get his hair. So me and this homicide detective Ryan Garrett, we drove to the Marion County detention facility, and I collected hair. I pulled them off of Danny Rolling's body, and I fingerprinted them. We used that hair that I collected to match to the skull cap. And then once law enforcement obtains that hair lawfully, we can share it with other law enforcement. So then we use that hair. We gave that to the people working the Gainesville murders, and they made their DNA match that way. But you'll never read that in any book. So that's a long-winded way of answering your question, Tim. I may do a true crime book about some of the cases that I work like that, just to, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. Uh, yeah, I mean, I kick that around. Right now, I'm really enjoying the fiction work, the novels that I write. But
Yeah.
when I'm no longer enjoying that, or maybe in my downtime, I might dabble in true crime.
That's a great story. In an ingenious way of doing it, because there are a few ways you could have attacked it, but that was an ingenious way of attacking it.
Hmm.
There's the old TV trope of, well, you could have just waited until he went to lunch and tried to get the discarded, whatever he
But he
discarded.
was in prison. He was in prison, and they weren't letting him out.
Yeah.
So anything they got at that point, it's not abandoned DNA because he's got no choice but to throw it in that receptacle because he's in prison. He's in jail.
Right.
So
Right. So
they had to get away around
yeah.
that.
But that's really a brilliant way of putting
Hmm.
it all together. So yeah,
Hmm.
that wow, fascinating story. Great story, Rice. Um, we're kind of getting to the end of our time here, but yeah, I Atropos is a great book. And again, there's not too much I can get into without giving away lots of things. Other than he's got an interesting couple of friends on the force that he hangs with that help him out in a sticky situation with one particular villain in the book. There's a
Right?
there's a scene where his life is tested. That scene alone, I have to give you kudos about. Without getting too deep into it here, Royce.
Hmm.
That book had me on, or that scene in the book had me on edge. Uh,
Oh, God, good. That's what I aim for.
that scene was brilliant, my friend. It's rare that there are scenes that get you riveted to the point where you forget to eat dinner. But that one I skipped right through. I was reading straight through, and that particular scene, I was I was so riveted that I think I ate dinner around 9:30 that night.
Oh, wow. I appreciate that, Tim.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that.
yeah, because that was pretty interesting, and the way that you weaved everything in Atropos was very it was just exquisite. It was good writing. So again, folks, I'm going to put a link in the description of this program to Atropos so you can read it. And again, follow. There's Royce has so many books out there, and again, such a wonderful author that you're gonna want to read everything that Royce has out there. Um, and I'm probably not telling you guys anything. You probably already follow Royce, so and I'm probably not. It's probably nothing new. It's just new to me. So I sound much like remember Pat Stevens, the character from Saturday Night Live. It's just new to me.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. But Royce, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. And again, we'll have to have you back, and because it seems like there's so much more to talk to you about, even between your career and your books. What are we looking at for the future with you? What do you have on tap?
Well, I've got yeah, I'm always working on something. Uh, I think that my next book is going to be one of my Preston Hollis thrillers. My next two books, I'm going to have one, Gray Warrior, and another one, Call Me Monster. That I'm really excited about that one. I think Call Me Monster is just going to have the perfect ending. I think Call Me Monster, when people read that, when they turn the last page, I think they'll lean back in their chair and say, "Wow, what a great ending that was." Uh, but like I said, I've got five books I'm working on. By the time I get through with them, I'm sure I'll have another four or five that I've developed and they're in the hopper.
Wow. Uh, let, is there ever with someone as prolific as you and with as many books as you have, is there ever such a thing as writer's block?
Not yet, and I'm so happy that there's not because I guess because I've got so many images and so much information stored away from my career. Uh, I just, I mean, I just write. It just sometimes it just flows out of me. I have not had writer's block yet. I'm I'm the president of a writers group locally here, and a lot of people in my writers group, that's one of their biggest complaints is writer's block. And I have to scratch my head. I have not yet experienced that. And I hope that you didn't just jinx me. And I
No,
hope
no,
that
no, no,
I hope I didn't just jinx me.
no, no, no. That wasn't my intent. It wasn't my
No,
intent.
no, no, no.
Just, I
I know that.
figured I had to ask the question because it seems like it
Absolutely.
rolls so naturally for you. So I just, I mean it. I mean, I can only speak for myself. It seems like the more you do something, the easier it comes, right? It just seems like
It
you
does.
that well that that you open that tap and it just free flows, right?
It's
And
like a faucet sometimes.
yeah, yeah. So it just seems like the more you do it, it's riding a bike, right?
Yep.
So well, Royce Wilson, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on True
Tim,
Crime.
I really appreciate you having me. I really do. This was great.
Thank you. And if you ever get to Minneapolis, the smoked prime ribs
I,
is
I got to tell you, brother, that you made it sound delicious, and you're right. I hope nobody ever orders that well done.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
that would be the worst
Medium
way.
rare or not at all.
That's right. That's right. Folks, it's time now for us to switch gears. It's time now for us to bring Jessicafreeburg in. It's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals.
It's Crayon News story time.
What happened with this dude, Christ Bearer? I heard he cut his penis off and then jumped off a balcony.
Suspect pulls gun from butt, shoots twice at Denver police.
What is your emergency?
I need help.
And what's the problem?
I'm too high.
You're too high?
Yeah.
It's that time again. Time you've all been looking forward to. It's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals. And with that, I need to go hostess. So I use my mental powers and I summon with all my might one who is mighty indeed, one who manages to break charts worldwide, but there's one area of the world in particular where one cowers in fear. He goes by the name of Binder. Yes, as a matter of fact, if you just mention to him, by the way, he compiles the Hindustan Times charts, and if you mention to him that this particular person has a book coming out, he prays to his gods. He summons his minions. He says to them, "It's time to get to work. It's time for us to be ready for the coming onslaught. It's time for us, gentlemen, to kiss our wives goodbye, pat our kids on the heads, and prepare to skip many, many meals, for we dedicate our lives now to watching charts be dominated by the one, the only, Jessicafreeburg. Here she is.
Oh, goodness. Hey, Timmy.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm a little sore. I took a big spill this weekend.
That's
I
what I.
told you.
Yeah. Are you all right?
I'm okay. If I look a little funny in the video, I'm adjusting myself periodically, so I feel like I kind of broke my butt. And I thought I scared my boob. Like I was just a wreck. My dog yanked me off the front porch and I went flying into like the garden where the metal things are to keep the bunnies out. And I
Yeah.
landed on one really hard. Oh,
Oh.
I thought this is it.
Now, when you first told me that, I was imagining that it was Phoebe Buffay who did all this damage, but it wasn't.
It was Winston. Freaking
Winston.
Winston Churchill. He's a maniac.
Yeah. I was going to say, geez, what kind of steroids are you feeding Phoebe? But that wasn't the case at all. No.
No, she doesn't care to chase people. She will bark at people and bite at people, but she won't chase anyone. That's too much work.
Hmm.
But Winston loves everyone, so he just wanted to go say hi. But I think I was a good dog mom because I hung on to that leash
Yeah.
and I never let it go. Even when I stood up and I was, all bruised and broken and crying, I still had that leash in my hand.
I have a little song for you, though. Let it go. Let it go. Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have got hurt if I just let it go.
No. Yeah, you would have been fine.
The
Yeah.
Ring camera footage is pretty though. Just flying through the air.
Oh no, Jess.
It's so bad. I told my husband, I'm like, I feel bad laughing at those videos that you see on like America's Funniest Home Videos because those people were hurting after
Yeah.
they fell down or went flying through the air.
No.
Ah,
I
so
mean,
yeah.
I'm glad you can laugh. I'm not laughing. I mean, but
No,
I'm
you're
yeah,
not. It was funny
no,
though.
it's horrible.
Just imagine me standing there, all innocent, being such a good dog mom, taking him on a walk, and all of a sudden I'm just flying through the frickin' air like Supergirl.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I do have a bit of a story for you before we
Do
start
ya?
about Supergirl. As a matter
Ooh,
of
I'm
fact,
excited about Supergirl.
I am too. I'm looking forward to the movie, but one asshole who's
Oh,
commented negatively about her
what? I love
is a
her.
I know is a former Superman himself, Dean Cain.
What does he have bad to say about her? She's adorable.
Evidently, he doesn't think so.
Who asked him?
Right. Are you ready for this story?
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's ironic that you bring her up today. I
Yeah.
was trying to figure out how I work this story in, but actor Dean Cain is facing backlash for a comment he recently made about Supergirl star Millie Alcock. After all, 59-year-old Dean Cain portrayed the Man of Steel on TV's Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, which, if I had to rank it in the pantheon of Superman shows, is probably the worst.
Yeah, I didn't even bother watching it, but
Yeah. It aired for all of 4 seasons between 1993 and 1997. He posted a photo of 26-year-old Alcock suited up and with pierced ears Sunday on X, captioned, "Wait, if Supergirl's skin is bulletproof, how does she have ear piercings?"
oh, for heaven's sake,
Okay,
Dean, come on.
genius, Red Sun. That's all you get, right? I mean, this guy supposedly played Superman for 4 years. He never studied the character. Red Sun. Just go to a planet with red sun.
Yeah,
Your powers diminish. You can put a needle through your ear and
here's the
pierce it.
way.
That's right.
You can pierce your ears, you can pierce your belly button, you can pierce your nipples, you can pierce anything you want.
Here's where he got a little smarmy, and we need to smack him back into place, Jess.
Let's do it. What do you say?
Someone else then commented, "And why does she look like this guy?" with a photo of Land of the Lost character Chaka, who resembles an ape.
Oh, stop it.
Kane was then amused. He thought that was funny. "Dang it," Kane wrote. "I laughed." That's what
Ugh,
Kane said.
that's not classy.
The user then typed, "Millie Alcock isn't ugly. They just put out terrible pictures of her," which I'll agree that she's a beautiful girl. She really is. But there's some unflattering pictures of her out there.
We all have our moments. Nobody looks beautiful or handsome all the time.
Right. Kane insisted that he hadn't said she was ugly. Just that particular picture was not good. Well,
Oh, come on.
well, come on. Still, hundreds of Reddit users didn't approve of Kane speaking about Alcock's appearance. She is like the most conventionally, or she is like the most conventionally attractive woman ever. We can't win, one Reddit user posted. Another replied, I still remember when these chuds used to call Sydney Sweeney a mid chick with big tits. That's what I know we're not in not safe for work territory, but
But
that
yeah,
yeah.
it's true.
Yeah. Although, okay, if I have to weigh in on this one, great body on Sydney Sweeney, but her face isn't the greatest.
We're all beautiful, Tim, in our
She,
own ways.
she's a wonderful actress. I was enthralled with her in Euphoria. I really was, but
Yeah.
not my first pick. Just yeah. Then they found out she was, and it has nothing to do with her political beliefs. This is a quote from the person on Reddit. She said, then they found out she was MAGA, and suddenly they started acting like she was the most beautiful woman in the world. I don't care what her political beliefs are. I just think that there's something weird about, I don't know. I just think there's something weird about her facial symmetry is what it is. Lots of men were also saying similar things about Sweeney, calling her mid and a butterface, etc.
Oh no.
Even Margot Robbie has been called mid by men online. Those men are Stevie Wonder and I think, because there's nothing wrong with Margot Robbie.
I think we're just all attracted to different looks.
I
And
think,
I think we just actually like probably process the way people look differently.
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, because Margot Robbie, come on.
Yeah.
There's zero wrong with her.
No, if you find something wrong with Margot Robbie, you are the biggest narcissist on the problem.
Yeah, there's literally no one who's attractive enough for you.
Right. Yeah. You might as well just go in a corner with your hand and call it a life.
Well, maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe that's the problem.
I think so.
No one's as pretty as their mom. Who they have a big picture of in the corner.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. They're definitely a mama's boy, that's for sure.
Yeah. I hate it when people judge people based on their looks, though. It's like, come on, they're all beautiful in their own ways. They're all,
Yeah.
different looking, and I love that. How boring if we all looked the same.
Oh, don't get me wrong. As far as Sydney Sweeney goes, I watched plenty of that second or third to the last episode where she had nothing on. I didn't fast forward through the episode. Don't get me
Why
wrong.
would you? No.
Yeah, no.
Probably paused it,
Maybe once or twice or three times, but
played it in slow-mo.
yeah, I probably did that as well. You got to get a good look. It's art. You got to get a good look at it. But
Exactly, it's art.
yeah. By the way, Supergirl opens June 26th. So it's coming up right around the corner.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. And I love her as an actress. I loved her in Sirens. Like, I just think she's good.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the movie as well. Jason Momoa is in it as Lobo. So that'll be fun. Yeah. Looks good. So, and there's a rumor that David Cornsweet may be back as well as Superman. So
Ooh.
it's a little deal. So you might see Supergirl's cousin in the deal as well. So yeah, Dean Cain, go to hell. I don't know. I a little something in my throat. Got to get that out before we start today's show.
Tickle.
Yeah. So, all right. For our first story today. Now we're finally into this deal here. First story today. I know it took long enough, right? We're done with Dean Cain. We're done with Butterfaces. We're done with all that other stuff. We're done judging. We're done being Judgy McJudgertons. Or are we? No, kidding.
Probably not.
Probably not. Well, we can be a Judgy McJudgerton about this next story. We're gonna start it off hot and heavy. By the way, Jess, I think you'll be pleased with this newscast today.
Yeah.
Just one not safe for work story.
I'm so impressed with us.
I know we're turning over a new leaf.
We're becoming clean family programming almost.
No, well, no. I mean, it's as clean as crime programming can be. Yeah,
Listen with your kids, listen with your grandma.
yeah. Bring grandma to the listening device. Grandma, I got a good wholesome program having to do with assault and murder, and
I feel like grandma's favorite would be not safe for work.
yeah. She did what with the wine bottle?
Well, I didn't even know you could do that with a wine bottle.
And it was named Cupcake. Yeah. My grandma had a cheeky sense of humor. My grandma Dennis did.
Oh, golly. My grandma Tootsie, she was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, my grandma had an odd sense of humor, that's for sure. I shouldn't say odd. It was very she had a pretty rich sense of humor. So yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Rest in peace, Grandma. I think you would have liked this not safe for work part. Except for when I go a little overboard. Then I would have got a Timothy. God, I can hear that now, actually.
Oh.
Grandma would have been proud of today's show. I digress. Let's move on. A Claremont man, we're going to Florida to begin with here, Jess. A Claremont man is accused of pulling knives on teens over a go-kart noise, deputies say. We're right in the middle of summer. I shouldn't say right in the middle. We haven't actually technically got to summer yet. We're right at the end of spring.
Right.
And, I don't know if I've ever told you this before, Jess, but I have these kids that live across the street and one house over.
Yeah.
This is the summer that I'm going to call Child Protective Services because all they do is scream their heads off like they're being tortured.
Really?
I think I'm going to find out this year if they're truly being tortured or not.
How old are they roughly? Are they like under 10?
Yeah, I think they're under 10. They're probably about
Yeah.
like 8 to 10, somewhere in there. Yeah.
They're probably just having fun.
Well, I don't know, because there's times they yell stuff that sound like it's out of a satanic.
Like, help me?
Oh, more than that. Like,
Oh.
I'm going to banish you to the pits of hell. I'll hear stuff like that. And I'm like, whoa, where do you get stuff like that if you're like 8, right?
Oh.
You know what? I'm going to send over CPS just to see.
Just to be safe.
Yeah.
Well, my kids used to play Hunger Games in our backyard when they were pretty little, and the whole neighborhood, and then eventually kids from all over town started showing up. Their parents would call and they'd be like, "So my son wants to come over and play Hunger Games. Like, what is that?" And I'm like, "Well, have you seen the movie?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, the kids are killing each other?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's what they're doing."
Yeah, killing each
They're
other.
like, "Are you supervising?" I'm like, "No, I'm drinking wine
Yeah.
in my living room."
Yeah. And watching them kill each other. So that'll be fun.
Cute. They use like Nerf stuff, and then they would like send in the supplies, and you would hear them making the beeping sound as the, supplies came in, and they were working together.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it sounded really weird.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that sounds pretty entertaining. I would have came over for a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Just to tell that.
And I think it's important to note when I told the parents that, yeah, they're just killing each other back there. They sent their kid over anyway. So
Right
I'm
on.
like, okay.
Because in the end, your kid's either a victor or carnage.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So my guess is the neighbor kids are probably doing something imaginative, and they're,
I'll
hard to
record
say
it.
though.
I'll record
Yeah, I
it,
want to
send it
know.
you. Yeah. And then you tell me, Jess, as former Governor Ventura would say, you tell me, Jess. Because I think
We got like the two polar opposite worlds in your neighborhood though. We've got you over there, your little Cinderella outside, feeding your squirrels and birds and singing your songs to them.
Today it was a party. I've got the wildlife cam set up now, because I've got the one dish on the porch.
Yeah.
It is a community dish, truly a community dish now. I've got everyone from Arnold out there to Steeler was out there today. The bird to the fancy pigeons, which is what I call the mourning doves.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was out there using the same dish today.
Yeah, I love that.
Community dish. So yeah, so and I've got video of it all. Yeah, got them
I
all.
want to see it.
Yeah, got them. I'll show you after the show here. But so yeah, but then yeah, you're right. It's kind of it's all peace and love out there on my front porch, and then the beauty of it all is broken by this squall of Satan's gonna come up and wring your ass with a huge pitchfork. And that's what I hear.
Yeah, I feel like that those would be my kids.
Yeah, that's what I hear all summer long. And I mean, and I don't know whether I should send help or maybe go over there myself. I don't introduce myself, maybe bring treats. I don't know,
No, put on a red outfit, like a red leotard, red tights.
Oh yeah.
Go over with a little pitchfork and be like, "You called?
You rang? I'm here.
I'm gonna cry."
So I hear one of you wants to go to hell, do you? I'm here to personally escort you.
Oh, I love it.
Watch the kids end up having an aneurysm just looking at me.
I'm the next dumb crime, stupid criminals. I'm just by myself talking about you.
That's right. And reading an entire docket about me. Turns out octogenarian Tim Dennis is over there with a pitchfork.
Terrorizing the children.
That's right. So this guy, I think, did the same thing. This Claremont man is accused of it. He just lost it over go-kart noises.
Oh gosh.
Now, do you have the people who drive in your neighborhood like with their sound up too loud and they've got the windows closed and it goes
yes.
Their vehicle?
Definitely heard that a time or two. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's going on now in our neighborhood too. It's just all day long.
Well, and all of the like electric motorized bikes and things that the kids have now.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, and they ride them on the sidewalk. So it's like, no, if you're going 30 miles an hour in a little moped, you need to be on the street.
Right. Yeah. Take it to the street, kid.
Yeah.
Don't hit grandma on the sidewalk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave that for the walkers. Deputy said the man, by the way, who was pulling out knives on the kids is accused of attacking teens with a meat cleaver and a chef's knife.
Oh my.
He bought the full package from Cutco, which is nice to see. Some people just skimp and get the 6-piece knife. He got the deal.
I have so many vegetable peelers from there.
From Cutco? Was it because it was the cheapest deal?
Yeah, at first, but then I realized they're just good.
They are.
Mean, so then I had like the good Cutco one, and then I had like my old one, and then I had a couple old ones in the Cutco, and the girls would be all upset and fighting over the good ones. So then I just had to buy more. But
yeah, well, you gotta split them up evenly.
Yeah.
Claremont man is accused of threatening 2 teenagers with a meat cleaver and a chef-style knife after becoming frustrated by the sound of their go-karts. According to the Lake County Sheriff's Office, we're going to Lake County, Florida. Deputies arrested 60-year-old Richard Carter after responding to reports that he confronted 2 teens who were working on a go-kart in a neighborhood garage. According to an arrest report, the teenagers were revving the engine while turning the carburetor when they heard a neighbor cussing them out. The fact that they could hear that over turning the carburetor is pretty impressive.
Yeah, he must have been really loud.
Yeah. They told deputies Carter became angry, threw a lawn chair across the driveway, and yelled at them to get the blank out of his neighborhood.
Wait, but they're in their garage, so it's kind of their neighborhood too.
Right. I mean, they're in their yard and they're maybe he should get the blank out of their yard. Right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's got it backwards. The teen said they attempted to calm Carter down, but he remained irate. Investigators say the confrontation escalated when Carter grabbed two large knives, described by deputies as a large chef-style knife and a large meat cleaver. Body camera video obtained by Channel 9 captured Carter acknowledging that he had grabbed the weapons. I grabbed the first thing. Is that really what
What does it say?
He said, I grabbed, goddamn, that wasn't nothing. Carter told deputies.
Wow.
Yeah. He was,
Goddamn.
Goddamn. Moments later, Carter admitted he considered grabbing a wrench.
I mean, that probably would have been a better choice.
Well, he could have helped fix the carburetor at that point.
Yeah, if you had to grab something, grab a tool. Not
Yeah,
a
grab a tool.
freaking meat cleaver.
Yeah, meat cleaver isn't going to help fix carburetor. The deputy asked why, and Carter said, I don't know, I'm mad.
Oh.
He's like
a toddler.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, I'm mad. According to the arrest report, one teen told deputies Carter held the meat cleaver near their heads and threatened to bash their heads in if they started the go-kart again.
Oh my gosh. That's so scary.
He's a great guy. He's a community leader, I guess. One of the teens reportedly dropped to his knees and begged Carter not to hurt them, while the other raised his hands and backed away. When deputies questioned Carter about the incident again, he denied wrongdoing. I didn't do anything, Carter said. Well, Richard, you just said that you went and picked up the first thing you could get out of anger when you confronted them, and it was a knife, Richard. The deputy responded. He kept using his name, Richard.
It's like he's talking to a toddler.
That's right. Richard, what did we do wrong? We went and got Richard. What did we go and get? Richard. We went and got a what? We went and got a cleaver, Richard. Didn't we, Richard? Deputies told Carter he should have contacted law enforcement instead of confronting the teens with weapons. Listen, I get the nuisance and it can be irritating, but Richard, call us, Richard. A deputy said on body camera footage, don't let your anger get the best of you because now look at you, Richard. Now look at you. The 60-year-old now faces 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He bailed out earlier this week and is expected back in court July 6th for arraignment. Court records show that Carter was charged in 2021 for pulling a gun out on a driver.
Dang.
So he's gotten less violent?
I don't know. I think they're equal degrees of violent. Both of them can equally kill you, Tim.
Well, it takes a little less effort with the gun than it does with the cleaver.
That's true, but you'll be just as dead.
True. Prosecutors dropped the charges on that gun, however, after he completed a pretrial diversion program.
Well, it didn't work.
It didn't. No. Short-lived, that's for sure.
Wow, that's some serious anger management issues. And what's scary with people like that is he really doesn't think he did anything wrong.
Yeah.
So he's legit just going to do something like that again.
He's defending the neighborhood, Jess. Yeah. Someone's got to stand up for the neighborhood.
God damn.
God damn. I'm here to make sure that gets turned off. Much like my sex life. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Richard.
Richard. They call him Dick for short, you know. I got to give myself one of these. Oh, no, I don't have that. Oh, that's what she said.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Well, here, I can do it now. Yeah.
Well, you don't want to call him that to his face, Tim, because he'll get out a meat cleaver.
You know what they say? They say Father's Day starts at Dick's. Yeah. There you go. Father's Day starts at Dick's. Much like life starts at conception. Thank you very much. Okay, suspected hit and run driver is found eating watermelon out of a stranger's fridge.
What a day.
I want to thank Jana for sending this one in. So, we go to Denver, Colorado, where a suspect in a DUI wrong way crash was arrested after allegedly fleeing to a nearby home and was found eating watermelon from a stranger's fridge in Lone Tree. We all get the munchies.
Yeah, they were hungry.
Yeah. On June 2nd, around 10 a.m., yes, this happened in the morning.
Holy smoke.
It's never too early to be drunk, right? Well, unless you're an alcoholic. Then
Any time's a good time, I suppose.
that's right. It's always 5 o'clock somewhere. The Lone Tree Police Department said it responded to a hit and run crash with a wrong way driver on Lincoln Avenue. Police were able to track down the suspect, but he wasn't necessarily hiding. A witness reported seeing the suspect hit another vehicle and drive off. Police said the suspect drove to a home and went inside. At first, police said the homeowner thought it was a worker who was driving construction on their home. That is until they heard the fridge open. Then, of course, it wasn't a worker. The homeowner called police and officers arrested an unarmed suspect. Body camera footage shows a man being arrested inside a kitchen with a bowl of watermelon next to him. Oh, it's a bowl of watermelon. How fancy.
Oh, it's like they put it there for him.
Yeah. During the investigation, police said the driver was under the influence. A preliminary breath test determined a blood alcohol content of 0.122. So he was above, but not impressively above.
We've seen worse.
Right. We've definitely seen worse. The suspect was taken into custody, sent to the Douglas County Jail. Police said he's facing charges of felony trespassing, driving under the influence, careless driving, failure to report an accident, and leaving the scene of an accident. So, not to mention just egregious eating. I think that's probably one of the charges. Yeah. And but a good choice. I'll give him this. A good healthy food choice.
Really. And if you've been drinking, you get it's watery. So it's almost like, flushing out your system of the alcohol.
You're rehydrating. You're
Exactly.
getting essential carbohydrates. You're not getting empty carbs.
That's right.
I commend him for the choice.
All in all, a good choice. Well done, sir.
And following the food pyramid. I like that. I like that. If I would have rather he get a little protein with the carbs, but
yeah. I think on his food pyramid, though, the alcohol is making the base of it. And then it's all the other stuff.
Yeah, but the grain from the alcohol really is still falling in the carb.
I guess you're right. It's grain.
He's carb stacking. And
I can't fault this guy for anything right now. I don't know that he's done anything wrong.
I would have rather seen some protein there to kind of stack on top of the alcohol to kind of help him fight that 0.122 he's working with.
He just needed a turkey leg or something. That's it. Then he would have had a perfectly well-rounded breakfast, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Since it's 10 a.m.
But the watermelon, good choice. I'll give him that.
Kudos, sir.
That's right. All right. Let's see where are we at here. Oh, this is an interesting story here. Central Florida man, again, we're in Florida. We're going back to Florida here. Central Florida man is arrested after impersonating. Now, when I say impersonating, automatically you think we should go right to
Elvis.
Okay, no. If you're on the side of the road, you're not impersonating Elvis, Jess.
Okay. Maybe a police officer then.
There you go. Yes, impersonating a police officer. No, although Elvis is a close second.
I like my version better.
Yeah, I like yours better too. Yeah, impersonating Elvis. Yes, I'll take that. I'll take that as well. No, impersonating, but that would be a close second. What would be the third choice in this?
On the side of the road?
Yes. What would be the third choice if you're on the side of the road? You would want to impersonate what if you were pulled over by the cops? Elvis is a good one to try and get out of a
I
ticket.
want to say Santa Claus, but I know that's wrong. So,
Oh, that's close as well.
is it?
You don't want to give me a ticket, man. That's a good one. Yeah. I just want to be your teddy bear. Uh,
Maybe you could impersonate tow truck driver, even though you're driving a Jetta. I don't know.
a tow truck driver. Yes, I will tow myself. Thank you very much. No, a Central Florida man arrested after he impersonated a lawyer at a traffic stop.
Oh, okay.
Although, how is that going to get you out of a ticket?
I think they're just going to give you a bigger ticket. Like a lot of people don't. I like lawyers, but not everyone feels the same way.
It's like, you don't have to take me to court because we're already here. I'm a barrister. I will fight this right here. 30-year-old Derek Shelfus is facing the charge of obstruction by a disguised person. That sounds like a Hall & Oates album. Obstruction by a disguised person. Huh?
Was he wearing something to like complete the impersonation? Because if you're Elvis, you got the whole jumpsuit on, that's all bedazzled. If you're Santa Claus, you got the, Santa suit. What are you wearing as a lawyer? Just a suit and tie?
Three-piece suit, maybe?
Yeah.
A smart vest along with the suit? I don't know.
Smart vest. A little bow tie.
Little bow tie, yeah. We go to Brevard County, Florida, where a Palm Bay man has been arrested after he showed up to a traffic stop and pretended to be the driver's lawyer. Oh, he came in for the driver. Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Right.
He inserted himself into the situation.
Oh, he inserted himself somewhere. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Seems like a bad idea.
That's a terrible idea. Just to show up and go, excuse me, I'm this man's lawyer. Prove it. Excuse me, I'll be leaving. In an arrest warrant affidavit, deputies said the traffic stop happened back in April along Interstate 95 shortly before 3 a.m. The quote here is, during the stop, a controlled substance was located within the vehicle and in the driver's purse, the affidavit reads. After advising the driver of their Miranda rights and beginning a post-Miranda interview, the defendant arrived on the scene. The defendant, later identified as 30-year-old Derek Shelfus, came up to the stop and was identified by the driver as her attorney, the deputies explained. They also said that the driver refused to speak with the responding deputy any longer, instead referring to him as her lawyer.
Huh.
So I refuse to talk to you. You talk to my lawyer. And they're like, okay, well, let's speak to the lawyer then. And he's like, I refuse to speak to you. I'm not a lawyer. What a confusing situation.
Strange.
In fact, Shelfus had shown up wearing a full suit and tie, asking about legal procedures, the existence of probable cause, and even trying to negotiate a deal for the driver.
Wow, he went all in.
Probably a bad thing to do on the side of the road.
I mean, how did he just have that handy? Was he just happen to be wearing the three-piece suit? Like, how did he get there so quickly when she was still on the side of the road? Huh?
Maybe he keeps it in his car. I don't know.
He just drives around pretending to be a lawyer all day, I think.
It's like
Just in case.
Bruce Wayne keeps a bat suit in the Batmobile, and maybe he keeps one, keeps a suit in his car.
It's very strange.
Per investigators, Shelfus claimed to be bar certified and licensed to practice in both Florida and Georgia. Florida-Georgia line, get it? But when asked for proof, he said he didn't have any documentation with him. Trust me, bro, I'm a lawyer. A check of the vehicle's information confirmed that Shelfus was not, in fact, an attorney, though it did show that he had been arrested last year on a charge of DUI. So he's guilty of driving under the influence. So he does know how to defend the charge, but He's not. The quote here is, I asked the driver how she knew Shelfus, and she advised that it was through a friend. The affidavit continues. She had spoken with him in the past, and he had told her he was a lawyer. She felt she needed a lawyer during the traffic stop, so she called him to contract his services. As a
Oh, so
result,
this was like his pickup line, Tim.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to get her in the sack.
That's right. He's like, I'm a lawyer. And she's like, really? And she's like, I need you now. And he's like, oh, I bet you do.
Oh
Okay.
no.
Then he shows up on the side of the road and he's like, are we going to do it here? Or, oh, you're really being arrested. Oh, shoot. As a result of the incident, by the way, Shelfus was arrested this month and now faces charges of obstruction by a disguised person and practicing law without a license.
Oh.
That's a big mistake. Meanwhile, body camera footage of the traffic stop has been obtained by News 6 and can be found top of the story I'm looking at. I don't know that you really want to watch it. If you do, if you want to see this guy get busted for being a lawyer, I will post it. So
That was silly.
it's kind of funny. You always get the surprised look, like, oh, how dare you accuse me of not being a lawyer when I'm not a lawyer? It's always funny. Speaking of not being, a Louisiana sheriff gives a gator the Deputy of the Year award for stopping
What?
a DUI suspect with its teeth.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Now, would you think that a gator is really the Deputy of the Year?
Everyone else must have been really bad. Well, I can't give it to Bo because he done shot his foot off. And I can't give it to Sally.
And Jack done slept through most of his shifts.
Gonna have to give it to the gator.
Got to give it to the gator. He did get that one suspect with his teeth first. Boy, this is the second time gators come up today. Came up with our guest, Royce Wilson, today about how deadly a gator's teeth are. Just like being stabbed. But
I think it's a sign, Tim. You're supposed to get one as a pet.
No, I will not. They'll kill all my chipmunks.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, they'll eat them for breakfast. Here's a story that's so Louisiana, we'd be surprised if you won't see the scene in the inevitable remake of The Waterboy. A man suspected of driving while impaired was attacked by an alligator attempting to flee police in Louisiana, according to local and state authorities. An alligator attacks a DWI suspect who was fleeing police, according to Louisiana authorities. A man suspected of driving while impaired was attacked by an alligator after attempting to flee police. Here's what he looks like, Jess. By the way, he does kind of look like a little like Bobby Boucher. There he is right there.
Oh, sure does.
Yeah. He's like, alligator gonna come and get me? Right? Well, this 40-year-old DUI suspect's name is Victor Rivas. After striking a concrete barrier near New Orleans and blowing out a tire, Mr. Rivas allegedly jumped off an elevated highway straight into a swamp during a DUI stop, which is probably the worst thing you could do.
Wow, he dove right in the alligator pit.
Yeah, he had it.
They'll never find me here.
Yeah, and never again. Yeah. That's probably the last jump you ever make. He showed the classic signs of impairment: slurred speech, glassy eyes, the unshakable confidence that fleeing on foot into a Louisiana swamp was a great idea. There was that. Yeah. Cops did lose him temporarily, but later spotted him sitting down on another highway. When law enforcement approached him for round two, our hero made the same brilliant tactical decision. Back into the swamp he went.
Wow, it worked before.
But that well? That's when Mother Nature introduced him to one of her local friends. An alligator emerged from the murky water, ready to nominate Rivas for the Darwin Awards. The gator latched on, thrashing around and turning Rivas's arms into its personal chew toys for a solid 30 seconds. Believe it or not, there's footage, Jess, and I'm going to post this in the description of the program so you can see how the gator got him.
Yikes.
This is why we don't jump into the swamp to avoid the police. It says that after Rivas jumped back into the swamp and was subdued by the gator, that's putting it lightly, he was booked at Nelson Coleman Correctional Center on charges of driving while impaired and resisting an officer, according to the sheriff. State police said they have warrants for his arrest on additional charges related to the initial highway crash that prompted their traffic stop. This is the picture of the gator with the sheriff getting his award.
Well, he got all dressed up for the occasion, Tim.
He did. He's looking good in his sheriff's uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus. Here's a bigger picture of it so you get a better look there, Jess. There he is right there.
Oh my goodness. It's hysterical.
Doesn't he look good?
Very handsome young man.
Wonder if he has snakeskin boots on. Probably look even better with those on. Right.
What the heck? That's not AI.
Oh, no.
Real, Tim. It's real.
It's a real picture of that gator there, just getting his award. Oh, the miracles and miraculous things we can do with computers these days. Okay. Where are we at here? I think we only have a couple left here.
We going back to Florida?
As a matter of fact, we are. Boy, look at you. Got your psychic bonnet on today.
Knew it.
Speaking of DUI arrests, we seem to be on a DUI kick today.
People are thirsty. It's hot out there, Tim.
Wow. Yes, it is, Jess. Okay, so if you were to get arrested on a DUI, how many or too many to be found with in the car? Let's say you've got a couple of road drinks with you.
I'm just booze cruising.
Yeah, you're booze cruising. How many is too many to be found with by a cop?
Well, I think technically the answer is 1.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say if I have, 1 in each hand, I'm really in trouble.
Boy, you would think so. 1 in each hand would be pretty excessive. Now, let's say, what would be if you had to road cruise, and you're drinking in the car. By the way, I have a. Can I tell a little story between you, me, and thousands of our listeners?
Yes, we won't tell anyone.
You won't tell anyone, you promise?
Promise.
Back in the day, I don't think she does it anymore, but my oldest sister, I won't mention any names. We're driving to my other sister's graduation, high school graduation. This was a long, long time ago. And she's speeding down the highway, speeding down 35. She grabs a thermos. She's chugging on this thermos and she's road raging. She's like, God damn, these people, they won't get out of my way. Oh, they piss me off. And she's chugging out of this thermos. I go, what are you drinking? Coffee? I don't think you need any coffee. You're already pumped up. She's like, no, pina colada. And I'm like, virgin pina colada? No, this is fully loaded. I need something to calm me down. She was drinking a fully loaded pina colada.
And road raging.
On 35.
It wasn't working. It wasn't calming her down.
No. Now I'm thinking to myself, we get pulled over, she's screwed.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. But do you think a cop would think to look in a thermos?
I mean, if you're presenting signs of intoxication, I'm sure they would. Right?
This next story, I think you're going to get caught. This guy was drinking White Claws.
Okay, those are all right.
34 of them
34 in one sitting?
in his car.
What the? Why do you have that much room in your stomach to hold 34 White Claws?
I think that was part of the problem. 33 years old. 33-year-old Florida man was arrested with 34 open cans of White Claw in his car during a traffic stop. 33-year-old's blood alcohol content was, believe it or not, only 0.177, which is more than twice the legal limit. For 34 open cans of White Claw, that is astonishingly low.
Yeah, I would literally be dead. I could not survive that much alcohol.
I don't know if he ate beforehand, or I don't know if he was working out or what he was doing, but this guy, Connor, is it Connor Parody is his name? Holy cow. We go, of course, to Pasco County, Florida. That explains part of it. Hillbilly rednecks in Pasco County are superhuman.
Yeah,
They can
blood
drink.
alcohol doesn't, it's not impacted the same way.
Right. Florida man's behind bars after he was found driving with more than 24 open cans of White Claw on his Honda Civic. So he was drag racing up and down 19, I'm sure. When he was pulled over Friday night, the driver was identified as 33-year-old Connor Parody of San Antonio. And he was stopped after he was traveling more than 90 miles per hour on Interstate 75. That's the other
Oh
one.
my
You go up and down.
gosh.
Yeah.
90 miles an hour?
Always having a good time. He got stopped by Florida Highway Patrol. During a traffic stop, state trooper reportedly observed Parody to be heavily intoxicated. Observed 34 open cans of White Claw in his vehicle. 34.
I just, in one day, like I couldn't drink 34 cans of White Claw in a week.
I don't think I could do it in a month.
Yeah, I don't think I could either.
Parody's blood alcohol content was, as I said, 0.177, which is more than twice the legal limit. He was arrested for DUI and taken to the Pasco County Jail. Evidently, when they put a match up to his mouth, he blew fire like Gene Simmons of Kiss. So that was fun. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, it's a fun party trick.
Fun party. Tell you what, let's switch it up just slightly. I'm going to show you a picture here, Jess. Of this guy right here. Kind of looks a little like Jack Osborne. Right?
I can see that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the reason I bring up that name or any name that might be semi-famous is this guy pulled out a semi-famous name. John
Really?
Wick, right?
Okay.
Keanu Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason he did. This guy is a canine owner. And he's facing the prospect of losing his dogs.
Oh, sad.
Yeah. He's an imprisoned man, and he allegedly threatened a Minnesota cop's life and asked the officer, "Have you ever seen John Wick?" The Keanu Reeves movie about a revenge murder spree prompted by the killing of an ex-hitman's beloved beagle puppy. The man I showed you the picture of is 28-year-old Teague Mayville. That's a very pretentious name.
Yeah.
No wonder he's got an attitude.
It sounds like a soap opera name.
It does. Teague Mayville. Of the Edina Mayvilles. Just saying. He has been locked up since his arrest last month for allegedly threatening and fighting with cops in Mankato. Yes, he's down in Mankato, 75 miles from Minneapolis. Mayville, who reportedly said he was in town to train for mixed martial arts. He was training in Mankato?
What? Is he like going to a tournament or what's happening right now?
No idea.
Training for a mission?
Is the world's best MMA training facility in Mankato, Minnesota? Am I missing something?
Oh,
Mm.
that's so weird.
Teague was in town to train for mixed martial arts, had a machete on his hip and another in his backpack. He threatened to stab officers in the neck at the time.
I don't like that.
He's got a bit of an attitude problem, Teague does. Teague Mayville. Of the East Coast Mayvilles, you may have heard of us. Yes. My Mummy was on Broadway.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Daddy was in stocks. At the time of his May 19th bust, Mayville was accompanied by 3 large dogs, which were subsequently transported to the local impound facility. Because dogs don't do time. But if they do it in the pound.
Poor dogs.
Yeah. When Mayville was told earlier this month that the animals would become city property if he did not immediately pick up or arrange care for those dogs, he allegedly became incensed. Let me do the voice again. I don't play about my fucking dogs, he said. Have you ever seen John Wick? He added, I'm going to kill these motherfuckers if they try to take my fucking dogs.
Well, tell us how you really feel.
Oh, he is fucking pissed, I'll tell you. I tell you, when I go to lunch and get my sushi from Byerly's, I am going to raise a stink.
Yeah.
Try to work as many Minnesota references in here as I can.
And everyone's like, what's Byerly's?
What's a Byerly's? Charged with multiple felonies, Mayville is due in court. By gosh, he's due in court today as we tape.
Ooh.
I don't have a Mayville update. The status of his dogs is unclear. Hopefully they get as far away from him as possible.
No kidding.
Somebody will adopt them. Get him away from Mr. Mayville.
Yeah. And I kind of want to know what he was training for. Was he going to try to be a Power Ranger? Like, what was his plan?
Bruce Lee said, move like water. I move more like a douche. That's all there is to it. All right, we're going back to Florida for this next one, Jeff.
Let's go.
This guy is a busy guy. Got a lot going on. Our next criminal has a lot to negotiate in one night, but he's also a little clumsy. Some of us are a little klutzy, right?
Yeah.
But he's ambitious. I'll give him that. This man broke into a Bradenton store through the ceiling.
Oh.
Took stacks of lottery tickets at the same time, according to police. We go to Bradenton, Florida, where a man was arrested after surveillance video shows him breaking into the store in Bradenton through the ceiling before taking stacks of lottery tickets and cigarettes, according to authorities. The Bradenton Police Department said that 46-year-old Brian Jones entered Bud's Mini Mart. That's such a down-home name, isn't it?
I mean, all of it sounds like something made up.
Yeah.
Brian Jones at Bud's Mini Mart.
I'll shop at Bud's. On Carlton Drive around 9:55 p.m., Bud's Mini Mart. CCTV footage shows him hopping down into the store from a vent in the ceiling and triggering the store's security system. Now, this is how you know Brian's not that bright. Do you see any mask on him whatsoever?
It looks like he's looking straight into the camera.
He is. He's just saying
Hey,
hi.
Ma.
I'm on TV, Ma.
Look at me. Look at me, Ma.
Hey, you know what? Bud's is a great store, Ma. Not only that, but I couldn't find a ski mask in the goddamn aisle to put on my face.
Oh,
Of course, it's Florida. There's no ski masks in Florida, but
no, I suppose not.
no.
There would literally be no need for them except for robbing places.
Right. Jones spent less than 10 minutes inside the store taking handfuls of cigarettes and stacks of lottery tickets, alcohol, bologna, and cheese slices. Again, here's a guy who's not stacking properly when he's drunk. I don't know why, but it's just. Officers reviewed the store's footage and identified Jones. Detectives spotted Jones near the store, enthusiastically scratching the lottery tickets while carrying a backpack full of cigarettes.
Oh, I can just see it in my mind.
Life is good. If your burglary ends with you scratching stolen lottery tickets a short distance from the crime scene, your odds of avoiding arrest have significantly become worse than your odds of winning the lottery. BPD said on a Facebook
It is
post.
not your lucky day.
No, you're pretty much screwed at that point. You might as well just walk over to the
Sitting there.
jail and let yourself in.
Just
Mhm.
chilling with his bologna and cheese, scratching away.
Yep, just. Jones was arrested, charged with burglary to a structure causing damage and criminal mischief.
Boy, they didn't say he stole any bread. I'm really bothered by that. He's just eating bologna and cheese without anything to put it on.
Well,
Ugh.
he's carb conscious. Yeah, gotta stay carb conscious these days.
That's fair. Okay.
Especially if you're breaking in through the ceiling, because you'll fall through every single time. I mean, there's a lot of flimsy ceilings out there, Jess. You
It's
really,
true. You really got to keep your weight in check.
yep, gotta be as light and airy as possible so you can keep doing those ceiling robberies. So, we're staying in Florida, where a final investigative report into the mauling of a Florida man by a black bear provides harrowing, not narrowing, harrowing new details. Screw that up a little bit. Of last year's fatal attack on the 89-year-old victim. The gruesome killing of Robert Markle by a 257-pound predatory black bear is detailed by witness statements, evidence, and necropsy photos and incident reports compiled by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Following the recent closing of the state probe, agency records were released to the Smoking Gun in response to a public records request. The incident, officials say, was the first total black bear. The first fatal. I'll get this right, kids. The first fatal black bear attack in the state's history. Markle was set upon at a 4-acre family compound in a Collier County community adjacent to Big Cypress National Preserve, a sprawling freshwater swamp in southern Florida. The property contained 3 mobile homes arranged in a semicircle in a common area across from the residences. The land, according to investigators, exists within a unique ecosystem of rare flora, fauna, and wildlife. Markle, who was 6'1" tall and weighed only 100 pounds, that's it for that old man.
Wow. He was
Uh,
tiny.
100 pounds. Lived in a 28 by 8-foot single wide Jayco travel trailer that had seen better days. Oh, that's sad.
I know. This one is really bumming me out.
On its elevated attached porch was a worn couch, grill, a shop vac, and an aluminum walker. On the night of May 4th, on the bear attack, Markle, whose family members called him Pawpaw, was sitting outside in a folding lawn chair on the front end of his RV smoking a 305's cigarette. Oh, it's practically a Lucy from the store. Oh, this doesn't get much sadder, Jess. Around 7:30 p.m., Markle's 66-year-old daughter walked the 50 feet between their trailers and handed him his evening medication. It was their nightly routine. Oh God, this is heartbreaking.
Really?
Sue Story told investigators and her father usually took his pills with dinner. Inside Markle's trailer, leftover baked beans from lunch were atop the stove, and the TV was blaring, which was common due to the octogenarian's hearing impairment. After saying goodnight, Story returned to her trailer, expecting Markle to do the same, as it was close to sunset. When questioned by FWC personnel, Story was adamant that her father would never be outside after dark because he was afraid of bears. Oh, he was afraid of bears.
Oh,
Jess, that was his
like
biggest.
he knew it was coming.
Oh,
It's like his soul knew. That's how I go. So he spent his whole life afraid of bears, and then bam. Ugh.
oh. Around 7 a.m. the following day, Story was taking trash to the curb when she heard her dog Lola barking. She looked back to see a bear dashing from the woods and pouncing on the 20-pound miniature pinscher. In response to Story's screams for help, a relative ran outside and threw a vehicle battery at the bear. What?
Like, so many questions, but why is that the first thing you have available?
Right? You live in the woods in a
So
semicircle
weird.
of trailers, and you don't have at least a pop gun to fire at this thing. So you throw a vehicle battery. So you're never going to get away.
It
Obviously.
makes me think there's some cars on blocks associated with this semicircle.
You know there is. Struck by the battery, the bear retreated into the woods, leaving behind the canine, who had succumbed to her injuries. Oh, so we lost a canine.
This bear, what a horrible, horrible creature. He kills an old man and a dog.
After her dog was attacked, Story
I
went
hate
to check.
this bear.
I know. The bear is Satan. After the dog was attacked, Story went to check on her father. The home front's door was open, but Markle was not inside the trailer, which appeared to have been ransacked. As seen in an evidence photo, a set of bear claws had torn into the screen door. Panicked relatives called 911 and reported Pawpaw missing. According to dispatch logs, family members said they can't find their grandpa from the camper, and the camper is all torn apart. Then, in an update, they just found grandpa's pants and shirt in the woods. And I take it he's not streaking.
Him.
I gotta add levity. I'm sorry, it's in my DNA.
Well, Papa's at it again.
Papa's not at the swimming hole naked. I know that much. According to an initial FWC assessment, Markle was believed to be sleeping in residence when the bear attacked. Oh, he was sleeping. He was defenseless.
How does a bear get into the house and rip it apart and steal someone? Is that a bear thing to do? I didn't know that he's like a thief.
The bear was like, appetizer.
So weird.
Sushi roll. Maybe he was rabid. I don't know.
It's just so aggressive. I've never heard of a bear being so aggressive that it would like break into your actual home.
I don't know. I have no idea. This story
Was it a person in a bear costume? Like I just can't believe a bear would behave this way. I could see a psychotic serial killer person doing this, but not an animal.
it does happen, Jess. Animals are not furry cuddly all the time.
And he just like ripped his clothes off.
Yes.
I think the bear is a rapist.
That's the only way to get down to the white meat.
Oh my gosh. I'm so disturbed. I just can't with this story. I don't know what's happening.
To the bear, it's like Christmas morning. You got to take away the packaging in order to get to the present.
You know all these stuffed bears I have in my house, I'm throwing them all away. I am traumatized by this story. Build-A-Bear bears, they're out of here.
Yeah.
Sons of bitches.
Fuck them things.
Killers.
Um. So, it does explain a little bit here. It says, according to an initial FWC assessment, Markle was believed to be sleeping in residence when the bear attacked in the spring, since natural food sources are generally limited and predatory attacks on livestock are more common, it says here. FWC concluded that it was highly possible the man may have been attacked by a bear. They're saying that, of course, he was attacked by a bear because food sources are rare. So
You
they
want
just,
them baked beans. That's why.
yeah. Well, there you go. The bear might have smelled the baked beans,
Mm-hmm.
and they said, "Well, that man must be full of baked beans." So let's open up that pinata and see.
Do you think the bear snatched him and took him, like carried him out? Or do you think Pop like got up and ran for his frickin' life and just didn't get very far?
This next sentence will answer that question.
Okay.
Following a blood trail, it did not take investigators long to locate Markle's body under a forest canopy. So
Oh my goodness.
bear ripped him
This,
up right there.
this is a horror movie. This is like that movie with that bear on cocaine.
Cocaine bear.
Yeah,
I think is what you're looking for.
forgot the name of the
Yeah,
movie.
I think that's the name you're looking for. Cocaine bear. In a thick cypress strand about 475 feet from the trailer, FWC agents located a cache site containing the victim's remains. Markle's body had largely been covered with dirt and leaf litter, a common practice of predators seeking to hide prey from rivals or scavengers. This action is consistent with black bear behavior, as they prefer to feed in seclusion and often drag large prey to concealment, where they sometimes cache the remains of larger carcasses, according to an FWC report. Markle's body was bent in half, and its condition was consistent with predation by a black bear, as the skin was torn from his flesh and the bear fed heavily on the face, neck, chest, groin, and arms.
I am not okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, this is maybe the worst story you've ever read to me.
Bears are not cuddly little things. They're
Oh
wild
my.
animals. The discovery of Markle's remains triggered a forensic investigation. At the same time, FWC officials hunted for the black bear. In short order, one bear was captured in a trap near the family compound and later euthanized. Two other bears were euthanized by gunshot by an FWC lieutenant who fired an AR-10 rifle from a forest tree stand. Necropsies identified Bear 2 are responsible for Markle's death. The 15-year-old animal's stomach contained hair, human remains, plastic, cigarette butts, and grapes. My guess is they found Papa's killer.
Oh no.
Yeah. The extensive probe into the fatal attack, analyzing everything from arterial spray to Papa's print, or to not Papa's prints, but to paw prints to bear scat, disproved the family's initial report that Grandpa was asleep at the time of the attack. He was not.
Oh no. Oh.
Oh, that's
They
horrible.
should have just let him think he was.
I I am a little reticent to think of how he even fought back, or if he
I
could
mean,
have.
yeah, he's like an 89-year-old, 100-pound man. This who needs a walker? Like,
I just don't know how. Oh, it's hard for me to wrap my
do
head
you
around.
think the bear knew that he was like weak? Do you think the
Yes,
bear was like scoping him out, like
yes,
freaking stalker and watching and like, okay, I can get that one.
yep. The minute he was left alone, he went after him. Yep.
That is crazy. This story, I just never I thought, oh, you might get attacked by a bear if you're like out in the bear's territory, but I never would have imagined a bear coming in and taking you out of your home and then burying you like a freaking serial killer
Yeah, yeah.
after it ate your face and groin.
Uh,
Oh, jeez.
And a side note, it says here, in order to minimize bear human interaction rather, and maximize public safety, state officials noted that it was illegal in Florida to feed or approach the animals. In addition to securing food, garbage, and recycling, citizens were advised to report bear activity to your neighbors and the FWC. Bear sightings were a regular occurrence at the family compound. In fact, early in the morning, Markle was discovered missing. His granddaughter, Cheyenne, heard branches snapping in the woods, but did not see anything. In a written statement, the teenager told investigators she didn't think much of it because the bear is usually out. So I got in my car and went to school.
So it was stalking them.
Yes. Another family member told of bears being at their house nearly every night, including a big male around 400 pounds who was bullying and chasing off other bears in the area. He added that a bear had been on his front porch the night before. Additionally, reinforced garbage cans on the site all contained claw marks and gouges. So they were there and hungry.
Yeah. What a wild, wild story.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's disturbing. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
disturbing. Yeah.
Oh, geez. I'm gonna have nightmares.
Yeah. Yeah.
Legit.
Bears are not anything to mess with. I mean, they're and in fact, I have a cousin who, I mean, he, for all intents and purposes, he's a rugged He-Man type. He's also homeless, but and he does have some mental issues. Um, but he's the type who wanders out in the desert to shoot rattlesnakes. But he's also been bit by them multiple times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But he would be the type to wander up to a bear and want to get into it with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of not knowing any better, not in his right
Oh,
faculties.
no, he knows. I mean, he knows how to get into it with a bear and survive and win. But he would do it just for the thrill of it.
Yikes. Not me. I'm gonna have to tell my husband we are never going camping. Never.
Me, I am the type of rugged survivalist that I love a good 4-star hotel. Yeah. Yeah. Give me a nice fluffy bed at the Hilton and
Yeah. I can
Yeah.
do a cabin as long as it's got real walls and a door that is solid. But no campers, no tents. Heck no.
I will stay at a cabin as long as it has a nice Tempur-Pedic bed. If yeah, you
Do
got
need
one.
a good bed at a certain point in life, don't you, Tim?
Yeah, yeah. And I've reached that point, Jess, where I need that.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. And some nice, good, soft carpeting. If you've got that at that cabin, nice soft carpeting. Yeah. And maybe a nice massage chair if you've got that at the cabin.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll take that as well. And a fully stocked fridge. And if you've got air conditioning at the cabin, I'll take that as well.
A wine cellar.
And a
I mean,
wine
let's
cellar.
let's
Yeah.
just go big, Tim. This isn't really a cabin. It's more of a
A lake home.
estate that happens to be, in the woods
Okay.
on a lake.
Okay. All right. Twist
We're
my
good with
arm.
that.
Twist,
Okay.
twist my arm. You've convinced me. That's what I'm looking for. A well-stocked lake home is what I'm looking for.
Ah, jeez. Frickin' bears.
Yeah, freaking bears. All right. Next story has to do with the fact that ladies and gentlemen, I think I have the clip here. Nope, that's not it. Darn it. I had the clip here and then I didn't. Nope. Again, I don't have it. Here it is. That's not it either, but it's an oldie but
Ladies and gentlemen,
here it is.
we got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. The banana chip bandit has been busted.
Banana shit bandit.
Yep. The banana chip bandit has been busted.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
That's right. An accused thief was unable to give cops the slip. By the way, if you ever wanted to see what a banana chip bandit looks like, so right here. Banana chip
That's a
bandit.
girl.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yep.
I'm Bill
Why
Curtis.
does it look like she's...
What's that?
Oh, I said, why does it look like she's at the hair salon? She's wearing like a hair salon cape. That's like what they put on you when they're going to dye your hair.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I'll explain here, then you'll know. Maybe she needed a little something, while she was sitting in the chair. By the way, if you've never had a banana chip before, that's it right there.
Ooh, I do like banana chips.
Yeah, they're
I
good.
do.
They're pretty tasty. Let me tell you the essentials behind this deal. The banana chip bandit has finally been apprehended per police.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. A bizarre crime spree ended last night with the arrest of 59-year-old Florida woman for the theft of about $300 worth of banana chips from a supermarket. $300 worth. That's at least 2 bags. Cops charged that Annette Nichols had repeatedly swiped the banana chips from a Publix near her Vero Beach residence. Over the past few weeks, Nichols has been coming into the store and stealing the same one piece of merchandise off their shelves. The item in question is a $6.49 bag of banana chips. An arrest affidavit states.
That is a little pricey. I can get why she didn't want to pay for it.
Right? Would you want to pay $6.50 every time you wanted banana chips?
No, I would not. She stole a lot, though, to get up to 300.
Although, in all fairness, every time I get Spuddy her almonds, $9.
Almonds are not cheap.
Yeah. Lorenzo Altamira, a Publix deli manager, told cops that Nichols had stolen banana chips on 6 separate dates. It should be important to note that due to this ongoing theft of banana chips, Lorenzo has limited the amount of banana chip stock that he puts on those shelves.
Wow, she's ruining it for everyone.
Yep. He also added that Annette continues to take all of the bags that she can. She's got a problem.
She's just stuffing them in her pockets, sticking them down her pants.
Ooh. That's what I smelled. It's moist banana chips.
Ew.
Ew. While Nichols has paid for some chips at self-checkout, she has failed to scan other bags before exiting Publix. When confronted by police, Nichols reportedly confessed to the banana chip thefts and said she did not know why she steals something so stupid, adding it's not worth going to jail over and losing her job.
That's true.
Or is it? Tempted, are we? A search of Nichols' car turned up 13 bags of banana chips, some of which were apparently stolen Monday from some Vero Beach store, as well as a second Publix at a neighboring county. This pattern of behavior for banana chip theft from Annette is a common occurrence, a sheriff's deputy alleged. Charged with theft, Nichols was free from custody last night before positing $150 bond on the misdemeanor charge. So how many times does 650 go into 150?
I mean, do you think it's a compulsion? Like it's not about the banana chips, it's more about the act of stealing them and hoarding them because there's no reason to have that many bags of banana chips at one time.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no other answer for it. I mean, it's not rational.
No, baby girl just needs some therapy. That's all.
Yeah, she needs a hug. That's what she needs. She needs a hug.
When you hug her, she's going to crunch because she's got all these banana chips stuffed in her crevices.
Or hear me out here, Jess. If she's vacuum packed, she's going to pop when you hug her. Yeah. She's going to be one big pop. Um, by the way, she has been convicted before. She was convicted in 2024 of retail theft for for skip scanning items at a Walmart in Vero Beach. So it's not the first time she's been tagged for banana chip theft. Court records do not indicate whether Nichols was consuming the purloined banana chips. Sheriff and jail records list the 5'7" Nichols' occupation as accountant and collections and accounting. Those documents alternately put her. Why do we go to her weight? Her weight at either 348 or 220 pounds.
What does that have to do with the story?
I don't know, but why did weight become a thing all of a sudden?
All right. Well, if you're going to give us her weight, you should at the very least tell us why she's wearing a hair cutting smock.
Beats the hell out of me.
I'm way more curious about that than what she weighs in at.
Maybe because they had to strip search her for all the banana chips. I don't know. And they got me. All right. And finally, our last story is not safe for work. So if you've had kids listening this entire time, they're probably warped for life. But you probably want to get them out of the room for this last story. We do have in our palate cleanser, there is one semi not safe for work story. So, get them out of the room. If your boss is in the room, well, apologize to us or for us to him. This broadcast has been unusual anyway. So, yeah.
If you let your kids listen to the pop story,
yeah,
I can't help you.
Yeah, they're already scarred. Everyone is scarred already. So we'll begin scarring them even more in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the party, pal. Here we go. This story will scar you even further. So
great.
Looking forward to your palate cleanser even more today, Jeff. Oh boy. We're going to Miami, Florida, of course. We've been in Florida a lot today. A lot of Florida.
I feel like we've been vacationing in Florida pretty much the whole time. We went to Louisiana once, but that's like hop, skip, and a jump, right?
Minnesota. We came back to Minnesota.
I guess, yeah, we were in Minnesota for a hot second and Colorado for a second, but
routine.
Florida heavy.
Yeah. Detectives say a Homestead homeowner says a drunk man tried to have sex with a tree, fell from a ladder, and it turned out to be a murder.
Wow. I can't even process what you just said. All I can think about is splinters in places.
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Plus, he found an extremely interesting knothole.
I feel like the potential is still there for splinters. It's wood.
Yeah. Unless it was a mossy knothole. By the way, Mossy Knothole is a great band name. Yeah. Continue.
Put it on a t-shirt, Tim.
Yep. I'm going to put it on a t-shirt. It'll be for sale shortly. A girl faces fear of abuser to help Miami-Dade detectives solve a father's 2024 murder, according to records. Let's jump into the story because if you thought that one about the bear was unusual. We're going to Miami-Dade County, Florida. An 11-year-old girl lived a haunting nightmare while living at her great aunt's house near Redondo Elementary School in Homestead, according to records. It took more than 2 years after her father's murder and months after her mother's deportation for Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office detectives to uncover what the girl had experienced and witnessed. With the support of MDSO detectives, that's Miami-Dade. Well, I'm not going to tell you what the SO stands for. I'll let you guess. Mainly guess. I just had a brain fart. With the support of MDSO detectives, the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office, and the Christie House Children's Advocacy Center, the girl faced her fear of her abuser and eventually spoke up. Records show on June 10th, Miami-Dade County Circuit Judge William Altfield issued a warrant for the search of the house and the arrest of Christian Herreras, the girl's second cousin, who also lived at the house. The MDSO detectives reported their investigations uncovered Herreras, then 28 and 29, sexually abused the girl for months in 2024 before killing her concerned father and threatening to kill her mother. Here's the timeline of the girl's suffering in the MDSO detectives' investigations, as described by Altfield's warrant. On December 16th of 2024, Homestead Police Department officers and Miami-Dade fire rescue personnel responded to a report of a fatal fall in a house's backyard near Northwest 10th Avenue and 12th Street. Homeowner Angelica Medina, Herreras's mother and the girl's great aunt told police that the girl's father had a drinking problem, and he would get so drunk that he would climb up the ladder to have sexual intercourse with trees in the yard. That's probably the funniest part of this whole story. Some of us get drunk and
I don't understand.
go party. Some of us get so drunk we go have sex with the trees in the yard.
And this was the girl's dad, the poor little girl that was being molested by this other guy, and her dad's out there humping a tree.
That's right. Humping around, as
Oh,
Big Brown used to say.
poor baby.
MDFR personnel declared the girl's father dead. A little too much wood. HPD asked MDSO to take over the case, and a homicide investigator reported the girl's father had suffered a compound skull fracture, which exposed his brain.
Ew.
A little too hard hitting out there in the front yard, evidently. Yeah. Or just fell off a ladder. The homicide investigator, who was wearing a body camera and taking pictures, also reported finding what appeared to be blood on a ladder and on a cement garden brick that had several strands of hair. It's starting to look a little fishy. Right. The girl's mother told detectives that her husband had vanished overnight before Herreras showed her the body covered with palm fronds facing upward on the ground near a tree under a ladder. The girl's mother said Herreras then started screaming profanities at her dead husband and later said dogs were licking the blood on the cement brick that a detective was looking for after seizing the ladder. Herreras, yeah, I know. This is bizarre. Herreras told the detective that the girl's mother had used the cement brick that was near her dead husband to set up a memorial in the backyard, but the girl's mother told the detective that wasn't true. Detectives learned that before the murder, the girl's father was concerned about Herreras as always trying to be alone with her. So he asked the girl's mother to not let him be with the girl without supervision. Detectives also learned from relatives that after the girl's father confronted Herreras and asked him to avoid getting too close with his 11-year-old daughter, Herreras showed him a handgun to scare him. Not good.
Yikes.
On January 28th of 2025, the medical examiner's office reported the victim was bludgeoned to death and that it appeared that the homicide scene was staged. On February 5th of 2025, the medical examiner's office released a toxicology report showing the victim did not have any alcohol or drugs in his system at the time of his death. During the MDSO homicide investigation, the girl's mother moved out of the house in Homestead and traveled to Dallas, Texas, and with her kids, to live with her husband's family. On February 14th of 2025, a detective who traveled to Dallas and interviewed the girl reported she exhibited signs of possible sexual abuse and recommended a specialized forensic interview. On March 10th, of 2025, the medical examiner's office reported that the girl's father's cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head and determined the manner of death was a homicide. On May 26th of 2025, the girl's mother was detained in Dallas, and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement deported her to Mexico. Like, how there's so much going on with this family.
No, if you wrote this as a movie, people would think you were like out of your mind putting this together. It's insane.
Right. On June 6th of last year, the girl was the subject of a video recorded forensic interview at the Dallas Children's Advocacy Center. And she said she had told her mother that Herreras had confessed to killing her father and gifted her a cell phone that her mother then threw away. Why would mom throw away the cell phone and not keep it as evidence and turn it over to the cops?
Right.
The girl did not disclose the sexual abuse until 2026. On February 13th, the girl's relatives reported that she said that Herreras had sexually molested her in Homestead. So a detective decided she needed to undergo a second forensic interview. On May 13th, the girl's aunt told the detective who was trying to schedule the second forensic interview that on January 22nd, the girl told her that she had been the victim of sexual battery in Homestead. On May 21st, a detective with the Special Victims Bureau and a homicide detective were with the girl when she participated in a video recorded forensic interview at the Christie House Children's Advocacy Center in Miami-Dade County. The girl described how Herreras didn't care if she was in pain when he sexually battered her more than 5 times. And she did not report his abuse or that she had seen her father dead after Herreras killed him and covered it up because she was scared and did not trust anyone until then. Wow, this is just...
Wow, of course she didn't trust anyone. What she's been through is like, I can't even wrap my brain around it as reality.
Yeah, it's beyond trauma. On Thursday morning, MDSO deputies were searching the house in Homestead when they found Herreras at a window trying to flee. He tensed his body while they handcuffed him, according to the arrest report. At 8 a.m. on Thursday, detectives arrested Herreras at the offices of the MDSO Special Victims Bureau. According to the arrest report, Miami-Dade Corrections booked Herreras at 6:45 p.m. on Thursday at the Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center, where he remained without bond on Friday afternoon. Herreras faces charges of first-degree murder, 5 counts of sexual battery on a minor by an adult, and resisting arrest without violence. Miami-Dade County Circuit Judge Marcus Bach is set to preside over the case. That's a lot.
That is maybe more than the bear story.
Well, we got to build to a crescendo here, right? Right, Jess?
I mean, I thought the bear story was going to be the craziest one you told me ever, and this one might win.
Well, I'm glad I could top your expectations.
Well done. Yes.
With that, we need a palate cleanser, right? Maybe now more than ever.
Yes, please.
You're like, yeah, yes, please. Okay, so our palate cleanser today is basically about outliving our expectations. Is that a good way to put it? Or
Okay.
living exceeding our expectations. That's what we'll put it, right? Or outliving our expectations, one or the other. We start with this one, right? It's a bit of an obituary for the first story, but it's a good obituary. You know, sometimes you hear an obituary that's a little bit inspiring, right? Or you sit back and you go, wow, what a life that person lived, right? Or wow, that person lived to be a ripe old age. Well, I'm going to show you a picture here of this gentleman, if I can get it to without spoiling the headline here. So here's this gentleman right here. Take a look at now. He's pretty well preserved, right?
Yeah, he looks like he's lived a good long life.
Right.
He's definitely elderly.
How old would you think he is?
89.
Probably a good long age.
Yeah.
William Poole of Bolivar, Missouri, passed away at the age of 101.
Get out of town.
Seriously. He
looked really good.
Yeah, he was well preserved for 101, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1941, served throughout World War II, including participating in the Battle of the Bulge and the long Allied offensive that ended in Austria. He was also the last son of a Civil War veteran.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Isn't it? That's a pretty long line.
Yeah, that dude's just walking history.
Yeah. Poole was also a member of the Sons of the Union Veterans of the Civil War, which is a fraternal organization that honors ancestors who fought for that side of the Civil War. In the 161 years since the conclusion of that war, the organization is in the hands of later descendants, but Poole's father was literally a Civil War soldier.
Oh, he would have been quite old when he was born, though. That was 161 years ago, and this guy was 101. His dad was an old man.
Yeah, yeah. KY3 News reports that Poole's father, Charles Parker Poole, was born in 1844. He served in the 6th West Virginia Volunteer Infantry Regiment. He was 80 years old when his son William Poole was born in January of 1925.
He was 80?
He was 80 when his son was born.
Okay, I wasn't mathing. I was thinking more like in his 60s, but freaking 80?
He was 80 when his son was born.
Wow.
Yeah. Who was the last son of a Confederate veteran was, that's a different sentence, but they threw it in here anyways. What was Calvin Robertson Crane, who passed away in 2019 at the age of 102? Like Poole, Crane was a combat veteran of World War II. But we salute today William Poole, who passed away at 101. His daddy was 80 when he had him.
I'm blown away.
Exceeding expectations, right?
These men are amazing.
Pretty amazing, right? I want to introduce you to another man who's exceeding expectations and is pretty amazing for a totally different reason. And it may make you giggle, just slightly.
Okay. I'm ready.
This one is a diagnostic dilemma, Jess. A man who donated his body to science after he died. He's got something a little unusual. He's 78 years old. No, not too old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he lived a decent life, but not old by any means. But he donated his body to science. And when he did so, they discovered something unusual about his body. Can you guess what it was?
No. There's so many things that could be wrong with it. Did he have
Or
11 toes?
Maybe right about it. Yeah, that's a good guess. He might have, but it wasn't 11 toes.
Okay.
But you're in the ballpark. He had extra something.
Did he have an extra penis?
Yes, he did.
What a lucky guy.
Not just extra. He had not just one extra. He had two extra. He had 3 penises.
Stop. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We had a pig once that had an extra tail, and I thought that was wild. That was just one extra tail coming out of his back. Were his extra penises in the right place? Were they? Because yeah, that pig's tail was growing out of his back. Did he just? You had one tail down at the butt, and then you had one tail just poking right up out of its. Where were his wee-wees?
Well, allow me to speculate on.
I hope you have a picture. It's the only time I've ever asked you to show me porn, Tim.
That is true, Jess. The man, first of all, let me tell you about this man. He's in the United Kingdom. He donated his body after death, and while dissecting the cadaver, medical students made a serendipitous discovery in the pelvis. Inside the skin of the scrotal sac and adjacent to the primary external penis were two smaller penile structures. Only the primary penis was externally visible. So you could only see one.
Oh, he's hiding him in there.
That's right. But all three penises included a bulbous structure called a glans and a chamber of spongy tissue that would fill all with blood to create an erection, known as.
No, so his little penises were getting erections inside of his body?
Yeah.
That's weird.
It was known as a corpus cavernosum. So what happens next then here, Jess? It turns out that doctors measured the three penises. And it turns out that the external penis only measures about 3 inches long. So he wasn't necessarily gifted in that, in that respect. And it was only about 0.9 inches wide.
Oh, it's so little.
I mean, it's cute, right?
Oh, adorable.
He's actually a micro. Well, he's not necessarily a micro. He's undersized.
Yeah.
Because I think they say now what the average is. What is the average between 3 and 4? Is it 3 and 4 inches is the average? I don't know. I have to look it up. Unless you want to look it up. I mean,
these are statistics I don't know.
If you want to Google it, I don't know. You can.
I'm on it, Tim. I'm Googling right now.
Average male penis size, I think, is what it is. Or is it 4 to 5? I'm trying to remember.
Let's see. Oh, wants to show me pictures. No, I just want the picture of the three penises.
That's half the fun of having Jess look this stuff up.
Okay, flaccid, generally about 3.6 inches. So yeah, between 3 and 4. You were correct. You know your penis. What's the word I want to say?
Facts. So he was a little undersized at 3 inches.
Yeah.
Do they say what the average width is?
Typical girth is 4.5 to 4.7 inches.
Wow. So he was definitely not on the width. The second penis measured 1.49 inches long. So definitely undersized there, and was 0.51 inches wide. Third penis, 1.45 inches long and a width of 0.47 inches.
Huh. So you put them all together and he was just perfectly normal.
So he was Russian nesting doll.
It was.
That's
weird.
Good.
Now, you gotta wonder, like, he probably didn't know any differently, but how weird would it be for those penises when he got excited to get erect? You would feel that inside of yourself, I would think.
Or not. I mean, if they all worked in tandem with each other.
Huh. So no pictures, huh? I really wanted to see them.
I'm not seeing any in the article.
Of course they're not. And we're not going to see corpse penises. That's even weirder.
I can search for it and see if I find it.
Nah.
It says here that upon closer examination, doctors saw that there was only one urethra, the tube that transports urine from the bladder.
Okay.
Followed a meandering course through the secondary penis and then into the primary penis, terminating in the external penis's urethral orifice. There were no branches in the tunnel, and no additional urethral tubes were found in the third and smallest penis. So, by the way, the diagnosis on this deal, why it happened the way it happened, it said during fetal development, a structure called the genital tubercle arises and eventually develops into external genitalia, forming either a clitoris or a penis. In this case, there may have been a triplication of the genital tubercle, resulting in 3 of the little guys. According to the report, possessing 3 penises is called a triphalia. The more common variant of this anomaly is called diphalia, which refers to 2 penises. So, and that's more common to have 2 of them, I guess, than 3 of them. The urethra originated in the secondary penis, but changed course and redirected into the primary penis when the secondary one failed to fully develop, according to the author's study.
I did find a picture,
Uh-huh.
and it says autopsy revealed that a 78-year-old man has ... And the picture is like, it looks like it's all blurred. I'm afraid to click it, like I'm going to be on some list. I click it.
You're going to be on a penis watch list.
Oh, it clicked automatically with my dog's butt when I picked him up.
Nice. Now you're
It's
looking
still blurred. I
Oh.
can't see. It's blurred, but they're showing 1, 2, 3. They have little arrows pointing down.
All right, I'll look it up.
Weird, Tim.
Man in England. What was the search you put in there? Man in
I
England.
just did man with 3 penises, and then I clicked images.
All right, I'm looking it up here so I can show it to you on the video. Let's see here, images.
But it just like it's gloves and like plastic, people wearing plastic sleeves. Like they're in there autopsying him, I think. Fascinating. I've learned so much today, Tim.
I'm trying. I try to,
I learned that bears can kill your ass even when you're safely inside of your home with the door shut.
this when I put in autopsy photos, this was one of the images that came up. 3 bananas.
But 3 bananas. I have 3 bananas on mine too. It's not
Yeah.
funny, people. They're not bananas, they're Winkies.
They're not bananas, they're Winkies. Yeah.
Oh, hey, here's a picture. It looks like they dissected it and took it apart. And it's like fleshy.
You mean this one? This isn't the one you're
I
looking
don't
at.
know what I'm looking. Oh, yours isn't blurred. Mine's all blurred.
So that's
Yeah,
the one
I
you're
think
looking at?
that's it. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I guess I do know what I'm looking at. Oh. Sorry, Timmy. You can put it down now.
All right. Okay. So we've all had a
I've
good
got
look.
my fill.
We've all had a good look.
Oh, that is.
Science.
This is a science show, friends.
Yeah. Well, we just took it that way. That's for sure. Yeah.
We're like Bill Nye the Science Guy, only the opposite.
Only dirtier. Something like that. Yeah. That's for
Oh,
sure.
so weird. Well, great stories, Tim.
Yeah. Well, we tried this week. That's for sure. We gave it the good old college try, Jess. That is for sure. All right, my friend. Well, you have a course online at your website. Tell us a little bit about it.
I do. I have a course called Stop Shrinking, and it's 4 lessons, and
It has nothing to
it's
do with
all
the
about
last story, right? Nothing to do with the last story, right? Stop shrinking.
no.
Okay. Good. I'm sorry. Continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Unless you want it to be. You can make that one next. But yeah, if you're interested, you can check it out online on my website, jessicafreeburg.com. That's all I got going right now. I'm just working on some books. I'm writing about haunted waters right now, Tim, and it's so fun.
Haunted waters?
Yeah.
Really?
Like ladies of the lake. There's so many ladies of the lake out there.
Yeah. Well, it's better than well, I suppose with mermaids and ladies of the lake and sirens and harpies and
Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah. Interesting.
Fun stuff.
So is this a 27 project then?
Yeah, this one will come out in 2027.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't a mass release, like 57 of them at the same time, right? Is this something we got to put
Just three this time.
something we got to put Bender on high alert for?
Yep, warn him. I've got 3 more coming out in August, so we've got 2 months for him to take a little rest. Then he better brace himself.
So he can take the kids on vacation in July here and then get ready for August. Huh?
That's right.
Okay. All right.
Be crazy.
All right. Well, for this week, supernatural news tomorrow with Mally Fox. Got that going on.
Yay.
And then Thursday, we are talking about some good old-fashioned ghost hunting on Thursday
Fun.
with someone who is got some impressive credentials. We'll put it that way. So, yeah. So we're doing that on Thursday.
I'll be listening.
That is the plan for this week. In a few weeks here now, we have a guest coming on to talk. We're gonna address the whole AI issue because man, that is on fire right now.
It's wild.
We're gonna talk about the whole AI, the AI and it potentially getting out of control. It was I'm trying to remember which one of the heads of the AI companies that warned us recently about AI getting out of control. And it's just a turn of the worm of it getting out of control and us not being able to control it, and it happening sooner than later. But we're going to have that discussion on the program, and it's going to happen, I think, last week of June, first week of July. So it's coming, and there's a new book out about it. So I can't wait for that discussion. That's coming up here relatively shortly. So
It's going to freak me out more than the bear, but I'll listen.
maybe we can have AI go after the bear. That'd be fun.
I mean, if it'd serve a good use then, if it could do that.
Well, unless the bear takes AI apart.
Oh, I don't know. That bear's pretty crafty.
Yeah. Then you got a whole new ball game, Jess. Whole new ball game. So, yeah. All right. With that, folks, just 2 reminders before we head into or head out for the day. True Crime Tuesday swag is available. If you are looking for True Crime Tuesday t-shirts, hoodies, hats, your stuff for summer, darknessradioshow.com. Look for the shop and then get your swag there. Also, over the weekend, I posted some interviews on our blog at darknessradioshow.com having to do with Disclosure Day. And what some of the people speculated what they thought Disclosure Day was all about, the movie. And that was in line at the screening. Now that you guys have had a chance to maybe see that movie a little bit, it's interesting to kind of go back and see what those people thought as far as Disclosure Day went. So go check out those interviews. They're available only online at darknessradioshow.com on our blog. So go check that out. All right, that'll do it for today. Oh, and by the way, Royce Wilson, go check out Atropos. We have a link in the description of this program. For Jessicafreeburg, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for joining us today for the best in true crime podcasting. This has been True Crime Tuesday.
For more audio and video archives of True Crime Tuesday, intriguing content, fun events, and cool swag, check out darknessradioshow.com. The executive producer of Darkness Radio is Troy Palmer. If you enjoyed today's program, please make sure you like and subscribe. This videocast is copyrighted for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this videocast, including audio, video, descriptions, or accounts of today's show, is prohibited without the consent of Darkness Radio Management. Thank you for watching. And be sure to join us tomorrow for Supernatural News with Mally Fox.